Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Netherkast! Again.
Take two.
We had some recording issues, but we should be fine now. This is part 2 of our MK Aftermath review, and I am your host, Razor. Joining me as usual are Shad, Django, and Smokeman. I am foregoing the usual intros, the fancy wrestling ones, half because I'm out of ideas, so if anybody wants to recommend something, I'm still open to that. And half because I think this episode's going to be a long one. We're going to be talking about story stuff. You know how we get.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we get into it, I do want to bring everyone in the Nethercast community's attention to the fact that we now have a Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/Nethercast. Now, if anyone is thinking of donating or is worried that the content is going to be going behind a paywall that will make you donate, do not, don't worry about that. The regular Nethercast show, The Lost, and the Warrior Shrine are all going to remain free and public. This is purely like a tip jar thing. There will be some bonus content that we'll record for patrons, and we're going to have polls about what to do, and you can vote. If you're a donator, you get to have a say. But those are all going to be only patron exclusive for a week, and then they'll go public too. So nothing will ever be permanently exclusive. Nobody will ever be locked out of content. This is totally like a tip jar thing. Just if you want to support the channel, now you have the ability to do so. And before anybody gives me shit about being a sellout again, like we did before we started recording.
I was kidding around.
I know, you were just kidding. The reason I'm doing this is because people have actually come up to me and asked me hey, is there a way I can support you guys? Can I give you some money? And it never occurred to me anybody would want to pay for this shit. But now this exists. So, if out of the kindness of your heart you want to put $1 in the tip jar, now there's a way to do that. And I would certainly appreciate you doing so. And, once we have patrons, we'll, have a credits thing, list your names at the end of the episodes, like other channels do.
How does that actually work? Where do you go to put that in the tip jar? Where's the tip jar?
It's patreon.com/Nethercast.
Oh, okay, good. I actually didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah, and right at the top of the page, there'll be 3 buttons. You can donate $1 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. And at the $10 level, we're actually offering that you can come on the show as a guest. So if you've ever wanted to do that,
wow,
I mean, you have to speak English and have a microphone, but there you go.
Razor,
you have a certain amount of quality. Your recording setup. Preferably, don't join us while there's construction going on next door.
Yeah. Don't be in a room with your family, watching TV in the background. We would have preferred.
Microwaving food, eating chips.
Well, now we're just telling old stories.
Next to you.
clipping your nails.
I mean, look, everybody in their first year learns some lessons about the right and wrong way to make a podcast.
We're no exception.
But now we're,
Mike.
We're salty veterans now. We know how to do this.
Yeah.
Which is why it took us 5 years to have a Patreon.
Quality content you're ready to pay for.
I never forget to hit the record button before we start. We've been doing this so long. We're pros.
Professionals. So yeah, let's get into it.
Razor,
first.
I do hope you're ready to do that every episode.
I can do that every episode.
Got to do the business first.
I mean, he did do it plural times today.
And by the way, like, comment, and subscribe.
Fuck you.
You can smash that like button.
That bell.
Opening our legs like Warner Brothers for the guest characters to drive train or ride up.
Look, you say what you want, but if there was a chance to get RoboCop on the show...
Hey man, I don't love him that much.
Peter Weller?
Yes, Peter Weller. Why would it ever be the other guys?
I'm making sure, dude. You have to specify.
I mean, I like Heath David.
I've been tricked before.
So has everybody who went to see RoboCop 3.
I didn't.
Anyway.
Yes, anyways, so something we neglected to talk about last episode were that friendships were added for free.
Yes, the game has friendships now. One for every character, as you do.
Again?
Yeah.
Again.
Friendship? Friendship. So, let's list off our favorites.
So, my top 5 in no particular order would be Jax, Raiden, Katana, Liu Kang, and I guess, unless I'm forgetting someone else, Terminator? Terminator has a good one.
Yeah. He does tricks on his motorcycle.
I like Fujins. I like Robocops. Scorpions gives me the warm and fuzzies every time I see it. It's very sweet.
Yeah, the teddy bear is nice.
And Aaron Blacks makes me smile a lot.
Oh, I forgot about noobs. Replace Terminators with noobs.
There you go.
It's not my favorite, but I want to give a shout out to how fucking creepy Frost's is.
I was gonna say...
It's very Evil Dead 2.
That's some body horror shit going on right there.
It is genuinely disturbing.
Worse when she's wearing the human costume.
Like, you guys remember that scene in Evil Dead 2 where his girlfriend's corpse is, like, doing that same, like, ballerina twist with the head not moving?
Yeah,
Of course.
I remember. So, I think my favorite, and I feel a little guilty about it, because there's a couple that are returning from previous games, like Liu Kang dancing with the disco ball, that I actually wish they had come up with a new one. But my favorite is actually a returning one, and it's Shang doing the rainbow. And I think part of the reason I'm so happy to see it is because he already had a brutality pose where he did the motion with his arms, but there was no rainbow, and that kind of bugged me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So it's nice that we got the full thing in there. All of them have, like, the goofiest grins on their faces. And there's something kind of disturbing about seeing, like, the way the faces are modeled so realistically in this game, and them all smiling, because, like, most of these characters never grin like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
The best friendships are the ones that stand in sharp contrast to the character themselves, and
Yeah.
Shang's from MK2 is always one of the best for them. He was just so happy looking.
I love the little, like, the way he kind of flaps his arms like a child as Sub-Zero run get the ice cream cart.
I was gonna call that one. Yeah. There's something weird about seeing Sub-Zero do that.
My favorite bit about Sub's friendship is that on the ice cream cart, there's a little cartoon scorpion who dropped his ice cream on the floor.
Yeah, get fucked, Scorpion. Can't even eat ice cream right.
That was a nice touch.
I also like the OCP logo gold chain on RoboCop was an inspired idea.
That was good. I liked that one.
Like, after he stops dancing, he just kind of stares and looks left and right like, what's going on? Wait, where am I? Why did I do that?
I don't think I have a top 5 of them, but I do... I'm sure I could put one together. Mine's not that interesting, though, because I think mine's pretty universal. Jax is the... I think Jax is the best, but I mean, it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
And also, shout-outs to the official Mortal Kombat YouTube channel for having an 11-hour version of that on their channel.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise.
Yeah, that caught a lot of... Yeah, I didn't expect that. I mean, you expect to see that on YouTube, but not from the official...
Yeah, you figure a fan is gonna make it, but, like, the official channel, like, beating them to the punch on the meme.
Good move. Good move.
They're usually not quite so clever.
Jack's number 1, and then Noob, and then Raiden. I don't know the last two. I don't know. Those are the ones that really jump out the best. I was also going to bring up Frost as being like awful, just horrible, awful. I never want to look at it ever. You beat me to that one too, but it's really bad.
It's really disturbing.
Yeah,
it is. It's like something you would see in a horror movie. This is not a friendship.
No.
Baraka's is the worst.
I find it odd they gave him the birthday cake this time.
Well, so his friendship is just him throwing up a birthday cake and then slicing it up. So now there's no
like he's cutting the cake, but he's doing it in a way that it splatters all over him. Like I get it, but it's kind of boring.
There's no more. There's no more cake. There's no cake.
No,
it's gone.
He's kind of doing the bit from the first Ninja Turtles movie where they slice the pizza in the air.
I mean, if it were up to me, he'd open. The present would come back, but he'd open it up and it'd be a little Turcotten baby, and he'd like cradle it.
That should be the Blue Mutant baby from Malibu.
Yes, sure.
It's an Oshtek baby.
He could be all Gucci goo and shit.
See, the curl would work really well if, like, you just cut off to the left and Melina's standing there with a plate and it hits her in the head.
Melina. I mean, didn't they really like cause enough guff with Melina fans?
I don't give a fuck. It's not worth talking about.
Katana's friendship is one of the best.
It is top 5.
NetherRealm
I am so tired of people whining when a character is like in a cameo spot that they want on the roster, or when like the show with RoboCop having a Cyber Ninja outfit. The way people reacted to that was so childish. That outfit looks cool, okay? Just let him have an outfit. Like, it doesn't mean Sector and Cyrax won't be in the game.
I will say, I think it is cool in general that Mortal Kombat did, or that when I say Mortal Kombat, I mean NetherRealm. They took the time to like give some of their guest characters Mortal Kombat-esque skins. That's kind of cool.
I hate the 8-ball for an eye that the Joker skins have.
Beat me to the punch.
Those do look cool.
I like RoboCops and I like Spawn.
Spawn didn't really need one.
He didn't need one, but he got one.
He got one and it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you need to do something for his alternates, because they've already got his regular look and his like classic spandex look.
And the Commando one.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spawn, I rather like his friendship. The Cot, he's reading a little book.
Yeah, he's reading like a romance novel that's about him and Wanda or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just looks over because something distracted him for a second.
No. He looks over because he's scared that someone will see him read the fucking thing.
I just like that he's using his own cape as a hammock.
Yeah.
Really,
and I do have to give a shout out to the fact that Codals is literally them just bringing fan art to life.
Codals was pretty.
Codals is kind of. I was a 4.
It's not bad.
I mean, it's not super exciting or anything. It's just I have seen somebody draw that, and that they actually just did the drawing is kind of funny.
It is.
Yeah.
GG's.
I like Shao Kahn's too. He's riffing a bit off of Sector's old one there, but they made it work.
It is Sector's from 3.
It works better on Khan though.
It does. He has a hammer. Yeah.
And he's so happy. The typical laugh.
There's some Easter eggs on that scoreboard, by the way.
There are Goros on there.
Really?
As he should.
Yeah, there's some other ones too that are kind of deep cuts. I don't remember what they are. Don't look at me.
Friendships.
That is what we're talking about.
We've wanted friendships back for a long time.
I don't like easy friendships. Fuck you. Fuck easy friendships real hard. That
Yeah.
shit. Listen, and like I've figured it out. Like I've been informed of the actual setup. You can't do easy friendships in competitive mode. Okay, cool. Not good enough. Fuck that. Like earn the friendship. God damn it.
I have, I think, 800 and some easy fatality tokens that I've never used.
Mm-hmm. What are you trying to say? You're gonna use them all now?
Number.
I fully confess to not having bothered to learn a single input in this game. Just because they're there.
I mean, they are there. That's the whole deal. It's like, dude, everyone's going to be using these things all the time. All the time. That's how that works. I mean, and I would too. If I was going to do finishers ever that aren't brutalities, I would be using that shit too. Not for not for friendships.
I always forget that there's an easy fatality code, and I just do the input.
Things I like to use everyone. I don't like stick to one or two characters, so memorizing all of that not so easy anymore.
I only play one player, so I just go into the menu when finish him comes up, and I look.
You could do that, or you could just, be lazy and hit 2 buttons.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I forget that mechanic exists.
I'm glad it's there, and at the same time, I'm like,
I think X trained me to not look at it because they were limited and they were behind a pay thing.
Yeah.
Like,
which I believe you still can buy them.
I don't know why you would.
But I don't know why you would. I don't think anyone needs to.
Like, the Crypt is giving them out for free by the hundreds.
They are.
The game just throws them at you.
It does.
Those and skip fight tokens, which I've also been using lately.
I mean,
yeah, I've been using quite a few skip fight tokens.
Yeah.
Like, the AI on the towers was ramped up again.
That
It's not terrible. Like, I'll actually have some fun fights these days, but every now and then they pull a little bit of bullshit.
Well, the thing is, there is a counter for it. It's if you actually use augments. Like, there are some really good augments in the, So, like, the order augments are all armor and health, and then the fire ones are more damage.
Oh, you mean the new system?
Yeah, the new system.
Yeah.
So, like, there's an order one that gives you, like, free hits of armor every 10 seconds. And you put that on your AI, and towers are not a fucking problem anymore at all.
Yeah.
And, like, I've actually been able to do co-op towers now, because with the right augments, fighting a guy in tag with, some rando loser as your partner, the other guy's got 5,000 health. Big deal. I'm doing so much fucking damage, and I have armor.
Yeah, some of that shit is like hella broke, which is good.
It's finally playable.
Yeah.
So I actually really like the new augment system.
I do forget that it's there now, but I did go and look at it at first, and I was loaded up my Fujin with that shit because I had to get them Fujin towers done. And between the augments and the skip fight tokens, I got that shit done pretty well.
Yeah.
I was put off a little bit first when they just, revamped the entire system. So I was like, man, I spent so much time equipping everyone with all of this shit, but the augments themselves are generally better now. They're more useful.
The other thing I noticed is that, like, when they converted everything over, taking the augments you already had and changing them to the new ones, they're all level 1. And the towers don't really, like, give you many useful ones. Like, it's mostly soul tokens, which are all just, like, more hearts when you win a match, more gold when you win. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Alright? But if you run around the crypt and open chests, those give you level 2 and 3s all the time.
Yes, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if anybody wants some good tokens, I would advise just, refill the crypt and, run around.
I found Reptile again. Did anyone else find Reptile again?
I haven't even looked for him since the time I hit him with the hammer.
I wasn't searching for him. I heard noise, and I'm like, those are Reptile noises. And I put on the blindfold, and sure enough, there he was. First time since, like, the initial round of hitting him with a hammer a couple times. So, I guess they reset that.
I've never seen him in the crypt myself.
Well, there's like
I had to see it on YouTube.
There's like 5 different places in the crypt he can pop up, and it's random which one he's at.
I need to check that out. I wanted to, I just never did.
You get like a green scorpion costume for hitting him in every location.
Oh.
I think don't you only have to hit him once to get the skin?
I don't know.
I think I
feel
only
like
got it
follow.
after hitting him once. I certainly haven't found him in every place.
Well, that's the better part of a year ago now, so my memory's hazy. Is that a green Scorpion skin or a green Sub-Zero skin? One of the two.
I'm pretty sure it's Scorpion. So that brings us to the long topic that we didn't cover last time because we didn't want it to be a 4-hour episode.
Indeed.
So the aftermath story content.
Yes.
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 Which kicks off pretty strong, I would say.
Cease Liu Kang.
I believe the first chapter was Nightwolf was playable.
It was.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, so
Man, Nightwolf. Ooh.
we've all seen the trailers, the premise. It's Liu Kang is about to restart history, and the hourglass starts cracking, and then Shang Fujin and Nightwolf show up and say, "Cease, Liu Kang," and it's because without the crown, the hourglass doesn't work, and when he killed Kronika, he broke the crown, so they have to go back in time to get an unbroken crown. So Liu Kang sends the three of them back, and they arrive during the chapter where Kitana is about to overthrow Shao Kahn in the arena.
They do. But well, you can't gloss over my favorite part though.
Okay.
When everybody's bickering there on the moon or whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what it is. Asteroid.
Like the beginning of time or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, that place. Everybody's bickering, whatever. And Liu Kang is just like, Fujin, sidebar. And they just fuck off. And Raiden is still there. Like, he doesn't even notice. He still is just fucking going in on Shang. Like, you motherfucker, why are you even here? Blah, 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 blah. We don't care. And, like, Liu Kang and Fujin are just... Listen.
We're gonna get into that, but I think we can all assume that Raiden just sucks. Raiden is
this
bad.
is the third game with Epcar Raiden. We have established that he's got some tunnel vision problems. Okay, he's very single-minded once he's
He do.
on a thing. He's with the he must win shit. And then it was even in 11, when Scorpion shows up, he's obsessed with the fact that, no, I told you not to kill Sub-Zero and you did it anyway, I'll never forgive you. Starts shooting him with the fucking amulet.
Yes. For me, I just kind of liked it because that scene, it didn't acknowledge it, but it kind of felt like Liu was acknowledging it a little bit. Like, I'm gonna let Raiden talk Fujin. You.
Yeah, no, he's on a rant. I'm just gonna let him go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let him go, Fujin.
I know how he is once he gets revved up.
That shit was funny. I enjoyed it.
Fuck Raiden.
It's like Raiden didn't even notice they were gone. Like, what? You guys left? Whatever. I told Shang what's up. Don't worry.
I always wonder if they mean for us to not like Raiden.
I think they do. I think that's the actual goal, especially with how they treat Fujin in this game.
I think so.
I don't know. I feel like they just never understood how much people looked at him as a mentor type of figure. Their understanding of the character is willfully different than that of the traditional depiction. And it's rather unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just a shame because I want to like Raiden. He's a classic character.
It's tough. I mean, they went with...
And he's in every fucking game. If he has to be there, if we have to have Cone Hat Guy, couldn't we actually be given reasons to like Cone Hat Guy?
I mean, you would think so. They did go the Dark Raiden route in the last timeline, too, eventually. Yeah. He wasn't as, Epcar-y. He was still, the seeds were there for them, being listen, we don't want Raiden to be the beacon of good hope and goodness, even back then.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with Dark Raiden if you actually do something with him, but neither timeline actually has.
They didn't.
I want the Raiden that wears white and blue to be a likable character, and he's not. That's all.
Well, now Liu Kang is wearing black and blue.
I think that Dark Raiden has actually probably accomplished more than Raiden has in recent times. Cut off Shinnok's head, brought Liu Kang back to life. Well, his corpse anyway.
His corpse, yeah.
Had it go on a killing spree. Did a bunch. Dark Raiden kind of gets shit done.
I don't know. I mean, Light Raiden did things in the old timeline. He did he is the reason that everybody's souls were protected from being stolen by Khan right out the gate at the beginning of 3.
That is true. I'm just speaking in recent times, that's all.
Yeah.
He was promoted to Elder God. Like, if that had been the end of it, that would have been alright.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's the problem with 4. They were trying to retire characters and set up the next generation, and they didn't. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Fire God Lu sends the 3 of them back to the arena in Outworld, and I'm not sure why he picks that particular time and place. It's almost like, so everybody who arrived in the original story mode showed up in the arena. So maybe when you time travel people, they just automatically end up in Shao Kahn's arena for some reason.
That's true.
I think it's noted that Liu Kang is new to being a time god, so
that's true. Like, he does say that he's like still trying to figure out how the powers work.
They did mention that, like, it's not exactly where they should optimally be or some shit.
Yep, they're at the wrong moment at Khan's arena.
So off to a great start.
And they are totally ninjas, just sneaking down there. No one's gonna notice.
Well, yeah, like they actually pay lip service to that in the dialogue. They're like, where and when are we? And they guess, we're when everybody else arrived. And they're like, no, wait, this is the second time everybody was in the arena.
Damn it.
One thing I appreciate is that once they sneak on down to the Beast Pen, we get some fucking cutscene action from Collector, which is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah. The entire time they were like sneaking across that arena, opening the trap door, and I'm like, no one's seeing this. Not so.
I mean, everybody is kind of locked in battle. Like, I kind of wonder, did Collector noticing and following them cause him to not fight Kitana then?
Potentially.
Because I was wondering, like, is this before or after his little fight with her, before she goes after Shao Kahn in that chapter?
I'm not entirely sure.
Damn, then she goes into Shao Kahn unwarmed up.
I mean, whichever way it goes, it doesn't seem to have affected history particularly. But yeah, like I did really enjoy like the elaborate cutscene of Collector setting the beasts free from their cages and fucking Fujin stripping the flesh off one with the wind.
It's very MK4. I love that shit.
Yeah.
There's something especially about Aftermath. They put a lot of effort into their action sequences.
They did.
The special effects.
Yeah, like I was genuinely surprised. Like, not only did they not like skimp on budget in the cutscenes, I think it actually looks better or like has more going on than the vanilla story mode did sometimes.
It really does.
I agree.
They do some cool action bits in the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And I bring up the Collector bit because he's such a wasted character in the cutscenes. Like, you don't ever see him do his job or at least kick someone's ass. So it's nice to see him like just.
The impression I get from the Collector in this game is that it feels like they're trying to establish, hey, this is the reason this guy was never in like a tournament or anything. He's not really a good fighter. He's just a weird alien in Shao Kahn's army.
He's a tax man. It's not his job to fight.
He's not a warrior. He's a fucking.
Keeper.
He's an administrator. He's fucking middle management.
He's a repo man. That's about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like that about him. Like, not everybody needs to be, hey, why wasn't this guy at MK2? You know? Like, Outworld is a big place with a lot of people in it. They're not all the greatest martial artists in the realm.
Which is good to see. It's good to see that Shao Kahn has employed people that aren't, like, roster. Like, listen, he has other people doing shit that aren't, you know, just like, bro, we gotta fucking conquer. Not everybody's Reiko or Kotal Khan or whatever.
I mean, even like, Kotal Khan, I would like it better if... You know, the next time they remake MK2, if they don't put him in the tournament, they just have him as an NPC who's like, hey, this is Shao Kahn's advisor, this is his diplomacy man, his like policy guy, he's a government guy, he's not gonna fight in the bracket.
You mean
I think
Collector,
that would
not
be-
Codal.
Codal.
Oh, Codal, okay.
I mean, Collector should also be an NPC, but I feel like Codal, the next time they make MK2, I don't want to see him playable, but I want to see him there standing off to the side being like
Part of the court.
a governor guy, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was in the flesh
Like, I
pits
want to
by
see
then.
that there are more politician NPCs in Outworld, and not everybody has to be, like, shoved into the tournament.
At what point did he go to the flesh pits?
In MK11 as a retcon.
Yeah, I would scrap that shit.
No flesh pits?
It's not
No.
compatible with the MKX comic.
So how's Aftermath?
Right. So Nightwolf and them, they fight Collector and they escape the arena. And they're like, well, Liu Kang put us too close to when Cetrion shows up to get the crown, so we're in a hurry now. What do we do? Can we even take Cetrion in a fight? And then they come up with the idea, well, Shang does, to capture Revenant Sindel and bring her back to life, because in MK9, she was the most powerful fighter. She, slaughtered 8 people or however many it was in a single scene. Now, there's something I like about this and something I dislike.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going here.
Yes, so first of all, Aftermath is completely ignoring the fact that Sindel is not normally that powerful.
Yeah.
The only reason the Massacre in 9 happened is because she was given all of Shang Tsung's power.
Because Shao Kahn fed him to her.
Yeah. Shao Kahn killed Shang and gave Sindel all of Shang's souls to boost her abilities. And Aftermath just kind of forgets that's what happened and pretends Sindel is the most powerful character in the realms for no reason.
Well, I don't know that they forgot it happened, but I'll bring that up much later.
Oh, I think they forgot.
I don't know. We'll see.
So the thing I like about it is that... Hang on, what was I going to say?
Damn.
Rex!
I got so wrapped up in what I don't like.
I really like
Well, are you
Nightwolf's
surprised?
dialogue there.
Oh, I remember now. It establishes that all those lines in X about how you can't save a Revenant without Quan Chi are complete and utter bullshit and always were. It's not even hard to save a Revenant. All you need is someone who uses soul magic and some Jinsei.
And
That's
there
all
you go.
it takes. Like,
Now-
since when has it ever been hard in this series to bring an undead back to life? I hated that shit in X so much. And everybody's saying, like, there was a period where the fandom was, like, mad at Scorpion for killing Quan Chi, because now they can't bring the Revenants back. Shut the fuck up.
Dude,
Well, all they had to go on at that point in time was what the game was telling them was the law.
Yeah,
And a
but
lot of
even
people-
X tells them there are other ways. In Kung Lao's arcade ending, he unrevenants himself just by meditating.
A little bit silly too. See, the thing is, the game's not consistent, so I don't blame people for thinking that that Quan Chi being the only path is actually the truth.
you're
Yeah, but
right.
I know it's-
still, man.
As far as I'm concerned, I know it's a matter of time until X or Y story element is backpedaled on a little bit, but
Yes.
one way or another.
I just,
Like-
it's so...
I mean, do people really think that Quan Chi was gonna do what Sonya tells him to do?
Yeah, like, there's no way that plan would have worked anyway. Quan Chi would have, like, tricked them and escaped.
I mean, obviously, like most of the people here are, we've been around here at the podcast. We've been around this stuff for a long time, and we know, like, listen, they're gonna find a way to bend things back to bring people back whenever they want to, and it doesn't really matter what the plot is for this one game for stuff to happen. But there's some people out there that may not understand that. They're like,
Yeah, I mean,
they
look,
said
even
it's gone, and you can't do it any other way. It's like, it's
Even
okay.
if you're new to the lore, it's not common sense to think that Quan Chi is the only way to like take them at their word when they're saying something so stupid.
Common sense, it's you can't really apply common sense to Mortal Kombat though because of how fast and loose it goes with it.
I guess I don't know. It always bugged me. So I'm happy to see any story element that's like, yeah, we could just bring back a Revenant. It's not even that hard. Let's do it.
A little Jinsei, some soul magic, soul chamber, I guess, which is another thing.
I want to point out, because we kind of glossed over it, the fact that from the very beginning of this, most people here, Raiden's vocal about this, Nightwolf's pretty vocal about this, you cannot trust Shang Tsung. We cannot.
They all know they're working with a villain. Like, there's no pretending we're on the same side from the very beginning.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate that they're like just everyone is just waiting for him to pull its bullshit. And like every 5 minutes, Shang is smiling.
He is
every
and we see it every time.
There is something to be said for Carrie in this game.
Well, he's smugly grinning even at things that don't really have anything to do with his betrayal plan. He just likes to grin.
He does. But no, that is good that everyone is like, you're going to betray us. People that we bump into along the way are like, he's betraying you right now, probably. Let's fucking fight. Like, everyone's fucking on this dude.
Like, what the fuck is Shang Tsung doing with you? What are you all... Are you stupid? Give me him now.
Give me him.
I think there was some people may have predicted that they would, since Shang was going to be working with the good guys, maybe they'd pull a thing where, he's got a secret good guy backstory, or like he's trying to turn over a new leaf.
Totally.
No, they play it like they should. This is a bad man, and we have to work with him because he's the only person who can do this, but we all know how it's going to end.
I have always hated any suggestion of Shang potentially having goodness in him. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, just let him be a bad guy. Let him be bad.
I mean, he's so good at it.
Why do you gotta have him be good? Let him be bad.
There's a history of people who like this franchise who just wants every villain to be a good person.
Yeah, you hear, as someone who writes fan fiction and has a lot of like interaction with the readers of my fan fiction, they're always asking me, hey, do you think it's possible that Kitana and Melina could like make up and be friends? Do you think it's possible that Noob Saibot could turn good? And I'm just like, no. Stop asking.
I feel like it's a more interesting question to ask, why do you want that?
It's called being a teenager and seeing yourself reflected in a fictional character that you highly enjoy, and being more than a little bit narcissistic and blah blah blah.
There's a lot of people who look at Melina and they see someone who acts the way she does because she's been mistreated. And they think that, if someone just was nice to her, she could turn it around. And it's like, there's a certain point in time where a person has been mistreated so badly that they hit a point of no return and they become a sociopath and they stop being able to feel empathy for other people.
Yeah.
Where they can never stop focusing on everybody's always mean to me, the world is against me. So even if you're nice to them, they will like ignore that there's someone in the world who's nice to them and keep focusing on how the world is not what they want it to be and how they're not getting what they want. And me.
There's also the thing where with those two, like, they were either directly or slightly more subtly, depending on which timeline you're looking at, groomed to one's gonna kind of meant to replace the other in at least in a role of sorts, one way or the other. That's why one of them exists. But
yeah,
and so inherently there is like this, there can be only one vibe, and like they're always going to be like at each other's throats because they both exist.
Yeah, Melina has an almost biological imperative to kill Kitana and steal her life.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's like why she exists.
Despite the fact that 9 kind of got the placement of it a little bit off, it pretty much goes without saying that she came out of the pits damaged. Okay, she was never entirely there.
I mean, that's part of why they used Tarkatan DNA, is they wanted her to be more, like, savage and, like, brutal and, like...
And Tarkatans are inherently half demonic.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I kind of get it with Noob Saibot, because a lot of people will look at mythologies and go, well, obviously if I'm playing Sub-Zero in this game, he's the good guy. Like, protagonists are good guys, right? And it's like, no, what you're not quite understanding is that Bi-Han is the protagonist of this, but he's not a good person. You're playing a game where a bad guy is forced to defeat worse guys, where you're an amoral person who has to save the world because you live here too, asshole.
To be fair, like, that's one of the few times in Mortal Kombat you get kind of a neutral-ish character. There's not that many examples of those in Mortal Kombat, but he's definitely neutral at best.
I think if Mythologies had more cutscenes or longer cutscenes and was able to get into it a little bit deeper into Bi-Han's psychology, more people would get it. But I feel like what's already there, if you're like the kind of person who really pays attention and reads between the lines, you can tell very easily that Bi-Han is not right. Like, this is a man who doesn't flinch at killing people, and then when someone goes, "You're a murderer," he's like, "I had no choice." Like, he's always making excuses. But he clearly doesn't feel any actual remorse. He just doesn't like to have fingers pointed at him. Like, how dare you call me a murderer even though I totally killed all those guys? That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and so, to Shang Tsung, similarly, is a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, Shang enjoys being bad. Like, that's really why he's always grinning, because it's fun.
Anyway, point is, most of these people are sociopaths.
Yeah.
Stop shipping them. Move on. Anyway.
Shipping them.
That was like a good, 7-minute sidebar.
You know what? I like sidebars, okay? That's kind of what we do here.
So does Fire God Liu Kang.
So, after this, I think they go to the Jinsei temple, right?
Yes, they need to get some Jinsei, so they go to the Shaolin Trap Dungeon.
Which,
and they fight some cyborgs.
One of my favorite bits of dialogue is, so they're walking into the room, right, and a bunch of spikes just kind of converge, to cage them in, and you see the crypt guy there.
Oh no, you skipped it.
The Descendant of Apep. No.
Yes, the Descendant of Apep is apparently so. I guess all he does, his job in life, is to be like a treasure hunter, a tomb raider. So he's always breaking into places and trying to get their shit. And canonically, it did not work out for him. He got killed at the Shaolin Temple.
I mean, those traps were pretty solid.
One of my favorite lines of dialogue from Shang in this is where he goes man, these traps are deadly. The Shaolin are more diabolical than I thought. Impressive.
Impressive, yeah.
I mean, he must have never played the first level of Mythologies.
Yeah, dude, that shit was fucked up.
So
well,
they're met with Geras and and a bunch of cybers.
The three of them, they went there, and then Fujin, they got the Jinsei. Fujin stayed there in the underground, whatever, in the Jinsei tank, and then those other two came back, and that's when they saw the crypt guy, Nightwolf and Shang.
Yeah. So they were, because they were seen back at the arena. Chronica now knows that they've re-entered the timeline and is sending Geras and Frost after them.
Which went really well, because they did that to Fujin, apparently. They at least sent Frost after him, and it did not work.
Yeah, there's So apparently the backstory for the three characters who were trapped in the void is that Nightwolf and Shang are both taken from the past, and Nightwolf and Fujin is from the present. And there are arcade intros about how Cetrion and Frost ambushed Fujin to throw him in the void. And what's weird to me is that Shang is old man Shang, and everybody else who was taken from the past was taken from the end of MK2. And, like, I think it was Dom on Twitter said that not everybody was taken from the same point in time. That's why Shang's an old man. And it's just like, okay, but he's the only one who wasn't.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just say that this Shang is from the present, that Ermac's arcade ending in X happened? That would make more sense to me.
Well,
That's what I assumed did happen.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Why?
Like, I thought this was present-day Shang, that he came back to life, and that Ermac is currently dead.
is this the part we're going to say mean things about Dom?
Can we get to that later? Because
We don't have to do it right now.
Yeah,
I did like the
not
void
right now.
bit. I did like that there was some explanation for where Nightwolf and especially Fujin was. Like, you know, it's not that he's just been fucked off for a while or...
So, what I like about Kronika shoving them in the void beyond time because they won't work with her is that it implies she can't just kill them. These three characters are too powerful for Kronika.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it feels that way. Like when we're just watching this shit, it's like, okay, these three dudes are pretty broke, so that kind of makes sense, sort of.
Well, think about it. Like, one of them is a wind god. The other one is potentially very useful, or like, you know, her personal tool. And the other one is protected by the Great Spirit.
I really love just the pushing Fujin is getting. Like, he's such a badass, he has to be thrown in the void.
Yeah.
And
I
not
mean,
Raiden.
She says
Like,
outright,
Raiden, that bitch, I can take him.
Well, I mean, she does say outright in the main game, like, deleting Raiden from existence will take considerable effort and all this work because he is a god. But so, like, the same would be true of
removing
Fujin.
him from history altogether. There are, like, you can just kill gods. Like, there are intros where they're like, "Hey, we
That's
killed
true.
the Earth and Fire gods."
You can. I mean, a lot of people do say that a lot of people died in intros. Like, dude, come on. Like,
But I mean, like, that's just like, okay, so they killed some of Earthrealm's gods, but they couldn't kill Fujin, so they had to lock him away.
yeah,
Because he's such a badass.
he is a badass.
And Nightwolf has always been high tier. Like, he doesn't always get used well, but it's always been established that he's really fucking powerful.
It is, yeah, and that's what I really liked here. I liked, like, okay, we get to push that guy a little bit and push him out front and see some of that.
And
It's
he's,
also,
wearing,
you know,
he's wearing the good costume, too.
He
He's
is.
wearing-
I enjoyed that.
It's nice that he didn't show up in roller derby.
The Revenant is wearing the helmet, if you'll notice in this thing.
The Revenant is wearing the helmet. That's a bit of a shame, but the Revenant isn't on screen that much.
He's
The
not.
Revenant talks like the fucking Hulk, so...
Does he?
He kind of does.
Hmm.
I can sense some illiteracy there.
I could also actually put a bit of faith-inspired headcanon to this and remind everyone that, you know, in the Shinto religion, Raiden and Fujin are the major gods.
Mm-hmm.
They could just be the hardest ones to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
So, anyways, back to the story here, the cutscene.
Yeah, so they're in the trap dungeon, and Garrus and Frost show up with a bunch of cyber ninjas.
As we said before with the action and the cutscenes, there's a scene where Shang just fucks up a bunch of cybers, and it is so fucking sick.
It is really sick.
It is so Shaw Brothers. It's so fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, the choreography is great. I love him like shoving the flaming hand into the cyber and then slowly cutting upward.
Like anytime during this thing, whenever I was like, oh, okay, so we're not gonna fight. This is gonna be an on-screen fight. I was happy, not because I didn't want to play, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be sick. And it usually was.
I've always wanted them to do more like cutscene choreography.
And
Not
that's
always
always been
just
like
jump to gameplay.
That's always been a thing for me with 9, because no one actually uses their powers in those cutscenes.
Yeah, like the Sindel massacre is especially egregious for like how
kicks people.
little choreography
That's
there is.
egregious. And there's one bit in MK2 where Ermac and Johnny are fighting, and no one is using their fucking powers.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on in that fight that doesn't make fucking sense. Like, Shao Kahn doesn't even call finish him when Ermac wins. Like he's just like, I don't really want to see Johnny Cage die today. What?
There's a thread to walk there because like I also just don't want to see like two models posed and shooting lights at each other either. Like this is Mortal Kombat. Like I want to see some fighting, but I don't want to see just
shooting lights at each other. One of my favorite moments of choreography in this thing is that Geras does the Onaga March.
He does.
As Fujin and Shang Tsung, do they reenact the opening of Deception, where they're both shooting beams into him, and he's just kind of walking into it.
There's a lot of callbacks like that in this aftermath.
Nightwolf walks in and joins like Raiden.
Yeah, like they do the 3-man pose, except instead of 3 beams, Nightwolf just chucks a tomahawk into his face.
I do really like that. I love Nightwolf just like jumping out of nowhere into frame and like stabbing people in the head with tomahawks. That shit's tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nightwolf.
Speaking of callbacks, I enjoyed. I think it's here where at some point, maybe during the Cyber Ninja fight, where like Shang actually breaks out the fire snake bite.
He does the fire snake a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that come back, actually.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that whenever he throws a skull in the cutscenes, it makes the noise.
It sounded like an elephant being gutted, but I understand where you're coming from.
And them reusing that Mortal Kombat 9 sound effect a lot, which was also good.
I do enjoy that as well, yeah.
Yes.
So then after you beat Geras with Nightwolf, Shang opens a portal, and
they chop his arms off so that he's trying to crawl across the floor at them and can't.
It's like fuck that.
And Fujin
don't
they send him to Chaos Realm,
and is trying to get them like Evil Dead.
It is. And he just like gross kicks that shit off. Yeah, they sent him to Chaos Realm.
Yeah,
which is another. Here's your name drop.
They name drop Havoc.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen, guys.
He's
That's
still
your
canon.
only.
I mean, it could.
It could. There's still Combat Pack 2, bitch.
Yeah, there are theoretically 4 to 8 more characters coming before they stop supporting this game.
Yeah, but I'm
they
just saying.
They have enjoyed teasing us with Havoc repeatedly.
I'm just saying, man. He's on the level of mocap and meat.
I think opinions change from game to game. I think it depends on other developers coming up to Ed and convincing him what they can do with the gameplay. That's how Fujin got in.
He can walk on wind? Oh my god, maybe he's not Ermac.
Maybe he's not shitty Kung Lao.
These dumbasses.
God.
Anyway.
So they get their Jinsei, and they send Geras away.
They do.
And then they go to the Netherrealm to kidnap Sindel.
They wind up chained to posts like Attack of the Clones.
And one interesting bit is that I guess Shinnok's Bone Temple, this is the first time we actually see this in the present day. And I guess the purpose of that room is to actually feed souls to Shinnok.
Yeah, like, somehow, I don't know if they're hoping that enough souls he'll regrow his body, or if he's able to give them magic powers while he's ahead.
Maybe he could regrow his body.
I don't know what they're doing with Shinnok, but apparently they are feeding him souls.
They're still worshipping the guy.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I find interesting is that when they first get to the Netherrealm, they're like hiding behind a big rock, watching some revenants march an army of demons on horseback to, I guess, to go to Kronika's palace and guard it. There's a line about how, like, they're talking about how kidnapping Sindel shouldn't change history because she didn't really do anything at Kronika's. And then one of them asks, why? Where was she? And there's never an answer given.
No.
Like, the Revenants find and attack them before they can really discuss where the fuck was Sindel anyway.
Well, let me tell you,
not everyone needs to be everywhere explainable. It's fine.
No, she was in there guarding Shinnok.
It's fine. But I do want to mention something. The second that they came up with this plan And Nightwolf was like, "Are you insane? Remember what she did to all of us?" And I think it was Fujin who goes, "No, like, what we have to do is restore her to her original, more heroic self."
I think it was Nightwolf who said that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something.
The second
It's
they used
weird.
that phrase, the fucking second they used that phrase, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
All the subtlety of a Mack truck.
We're
So here's what I'm
gonna get
wondering.
into that.
Okay, Fujin is as old as time. How does he not know what Sindel really acted like? Like, if we're going with this new premise that Sindel was always evil and
No, we're
actually
not.
loved Shao Kahn and murdered Jared for him, how does anyone not know that? Was she seriously pretending to not be, like, a loving wife 10,000 years ago? What purpose would that have served?
Fujin kind of acted like he was around, but he wasn't around, so we only heard. He's like, I heard something, but was she really okay? Then Shang is the one who pushes the whole
logic flaws. Like, there are people like Kitana remembers her mother, like she was a child, but she was an infant when Jared died, but she was a little older when Sindel supposedly killed herself. So, like, she kind of remembers her mom, and that's why she's good. Like, that's why she was always kind of hesitant about being Shao Kahn's assassin and was easy to turn to the good side when she found out the truth, is because she wasn't raised to be totally evil. Like, her mom taught her some good shit, too. And if that's no longer true, then how is Kitana a good person? I don't know. There are other things. Like, there are characters who were around back then. Shiva is surprised that Sindel is evil.
Yeah, that shit's
but
fucked up.
Shiva was literally Sindel's bodyguard back then, according to this story.
Yep.
She calls her my empress.
Like, Shiva explicitly remembers serving Sindel before Sindel died.
And Sindel knows Shiva. It's like, oh, Shiva. It's Shiva.
So, I don't know. It's so poorly thought out.
The retcon is fucking terrible, and there are a variety of reasons.
It doesn't even fit its own story.
It doesn't. That's like, yeah. There's no way to fit this square peg in this round hole. It doesn't work. It's ugly.
So, but that we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
They're in the Netherrealm, and they're captured by Revenant, Sindel, and Nightwolf, and chained up in the Bone Temple. And as they're talking, regular Nightwolf gets himself free with his magic weapons and breaks everybody's chains, and a big fight breaks out.
There's a really cool fight choreography thing where Fujin is using his wind to spin Nightwolf around with his tomahawk.
Yeah, he's just T-posing with his tomahawks. Fujin spins him into the demons.
It is tight.
Oh, it's really
he's
cool.
asserting dominance.
They start playing it again, kind of fast and loose with the hurting your Nightwolf, but hurting your Revenant also hurts you rules.
Well, no, it's
just a little bit.
Well, it's fine because
you can hurt past guy and it'll hurt present guy. But if you hurt present guy, there's no reason it would hurt past guy.
You can hurt a Revenant without hurting the real person.
Yeah.
They're able to, like, they bring it up here, but it was never consistent.
Well, what they say is, Nightwolf says, you can't kill me, future you will no longer exist. And Revenant Nightwolf goes, I'm willing to make that sacrifice if it'll, like, prevent all the stuff that's happened to my tribe without me. Or, like, since he's been a Revenant. Like, he's willing to die young instead of having ever been a Revenant. That's why he's willing to fight himself. But the Revenant loses that fight, so it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I don't remember anything.
It's never been consistent. Like, you've had, like, Liu Kang fighting his own Revenant, Kombat fighting his own
worry
Revenant.
about it right now. There's moments where it actually matters, but here it's just dialogue.
It matters when the plot needs it to matter.
The point is Revenant Nightwolf is willing to kill his younger self and thus kill his own self, but that's not what happens anyway.
Yes.
So don't worry about it.
Hey,
So-
I look for inconsistencies like the rest of you, and this one bugged me. So let's move on.
Anyway, so one of the things that happens is that Revenant Nightwolf does his MK3 summon lightning to the tomahawk and then shoot it at someone fatality to absolutely ruin Shang Tsung's shit. Like, burns the fuck out of him, the flesh is melted off his face and whatnot.
Like, his eyelids are gone.
Yeah. His nose, too. Like,
It's actually really gruesome.
Yeah, like, his
really
face
good.
is fucked up. So Shang steals Revenant Nightwolf's soul to heal himself.
And the
And
graphics
regular-
on his face healing look really good, too.
Yeah.
There's a thing that they do here whenever Shang takes someone's soul. Again, the MK movie influence kind of rears its head, because like they start looking more withered, a little green or gray out.
Well, I wouldn't say
It's-
that necessarily
it's
from
not-
the movie. He's like, the fact that his soul stealing is supposed to turn people into like desiccated mummy bodies.
It's not a new thing, I know that, but
Yeah, it's from MK2.
I hang on. Let me finish.
All right.
Finish.
God Razor, fuck.
You know
Oh,
that moment
my
when he
bad.
was having the dream in the first film
Yeah.
at the very beginning, when like Shang's face kind of like metamorphoses into this
Yeah.
half fleshy skull thing.
Yeah.
Pan in. A lot of the corpses after Shang's done with them, they have that look on them a little bit, specifically. I don't think it's a
suppose I could see
coincidence.
it, yeah. I mean, the thing is, in the movie, Shang steals souls like 3 times, and every time he does it, it looks different.
Yeah, sometimes he takes your
Like, he
insides.
That's an orange and blue skeleton out of Hakeem the Machine Alston. and when he sucked Art Lean's soul, he did it with his eyeball.
Anyway,
But anyway, yeah, I can see the reference to like the spooky face from Lou's dream.
just a bit.
I really appreciate that they actually have the bodies wither like that, because for the past many games they haven't been able to do that with the in-game graphics. Like, since Deadly Alliance, like in MK9 they had them sort of desaturate, like the skin turned cracked gray, but like the body wouldn't shrivel. And I've always missed that effect, because I always thought that was the coolest thing visually about the Soul Steal.
It's
That
good to
budget,
have it
dude.
back.
Yeah, it's
That
nice
budget.
that it's back.
You get that shrivel.
So anyway, Nightwolf tries to stop Shang from killing his future self, but Fujin is like, no, we can't pull off the plan without Shang Tsung. We're gonna have to let him do this. And so he gets to be a little smug about how he killed a version of a Nightwolf right in front of Nightwolf.
What?
Nightwolf and Shang have some great interactions here, and one of my favorite ones is coming up shortly. I'll get to it.
So they also succeeded in knocking Sindel out. So they, I don't know where they got the ornate purple coffin they carry her around in from.
Didn't you love that fridge, dude?
I feel like if they're trying to keep what they're doing a secret, having like the glass roof on the coffin may have been a bad idea.
No sunroof?
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
They should have just put a bunch of food on top of it or something. I don't know.
For only $100 more, you get the sunroof.
I mean, most coffins don't have a window. That's all I'm saying.
Man, I love some of Aaron Black stuff about that shit. That's funny.
So they get out of the Netherrealm. They take Sindel's body to Shiva because I guess they want help. Like, they want someone to bodyguard them on their way to the Soul Chamber.
Yeah.
And they figure that Shiva will do it because A, Shokan's strong, and B, Shiva is super loyal to Sindel from back in the day.
And she does call him out. She's like, wait, you're coming to me for muscle? I'm a queen.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck are you doing with Shang Tsung?
Well, there is.
That too.
I like how diplomatic Shang is able to be in this scene. Like, he actually kind of turns off the smug for a minute, and he's like deferential to Shiva. He gives her like the courtly respect.
We know
He
this
says
request is well below your station.
Yeah.
I do like how Shiva is written in this scene. Like they tell her what happened, like from how they're from the future, and she's just like, "You take me for an idiot."
And this conversation has that bit of Nightwolf and Shang dialogue that I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
Where Shang's like, Katana never appreciated my contributions to the Empire. Like replacing her with an evil clone? Yes.
Yes.
That's it!
Yes, that was one of my contributions. I'm rather proud of it.
Yeah, she didn't like it. She wasn't a fan. God.
I do. I think I said in the last podcast how there's a huge difference with how she's written in the story and how her lines are written in when you're playing as her.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the story mode, she's like smart and like how you'd expect a Shokan to be, and then in the match, she's just shouting Shokan like she's the fucking Hulk. So
Yeah, I feel like they just kind of ran out of ideas when they got to like the mid-match battle cries, because just shouting the word Shokan, like, imagine if his Sub-Zero is fighting, he just goes Lin Kuei.
Instead, he says for the Lin Kuei, which is much better.
Yeah, he forms a sentence.
He does.
Like, I think Shiva says both. She says for the Lin Kuei, dumpy might I add, and she's
for the Lin Kuei.
See, Shiva
no. God damn it! She said for the show. She says for the Shokan, really dumb like, and then also just says Shokan.
Hey guys.
But in the story, she's treated like a proper Shokan, at least for now.
Yeah.
Remember when Johnny was all like, "I'm Johnny Cage"?
But that's actually I like it when Johnny does it.
Yeah, it's funny
Sometimes
when
it
Johnny
works.
does it.
Like, actually, my favorite mid-match quote in MK9 is when you do the EX shadow flip kick, the shadow uppercut, and he just goes Johnny Cage.
Yeah, see, that's fine, right? It'd be dumb if he just said human, right? Like that'd make him look like a fucking retard.
Yeah, like if he was just shouting Earthrealm.
I mean, would you want Shiva going Shiva?
Well, no, but like,
I mean,
you know what I mean, Django. You know what I mean.
If Cage can go Cage, like, you know.
Sometimes you gotta feel the power of Shao Kahn, and he tells you so himself.
I feel like the way Johnny says it, it doesn't sound like a dumb person. It just sounds like,
well,
that's great.
Awesome. Yeah.
It sounds like a douche person, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
which is fine for Johnny, right?
He's proud of his own brand.
Yeah.
All right.
He
So,
is.
So, she agrees to help them, and then I believe, they go through the Deadpool, and they're met with present Aaron Black and Baraka,
Which is the only time in the entire game that present Aaron Black actually gets speaking lines. So that was nice.
That was
And
nice.
he's his likable self. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's not the Black Dragon one. There is like a notable personality difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
They put effort into doing that, and I appreciate it.
With
One
Katana
of
Khan's mama.
one of my favorite bits in this scene is so Shang is disguised as a Shokan, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then Baraka arrives, and he just sniffs him out and stabs him. This game can't stop being good to Baraka. I fucking love it.
It's so great.
It is nice, isn't it?
All the wonderful, wonderful things that they've done with him. They've given him character, a personality, brains.
I'm glad that one
Instinct.
guy still got chucked into the Deadpool, just to remind everybody that this is what happens in the Deadpool. We all just watched, so we all remember.
Shiva has this look on her face of just like, oh, this isn't gonna go well.
Like, no one, absolutely no one barring Shang, is okay with what happened.
Sincerest apologies.
Shang is trying his hardest not to burst out laughing.
And Shang's like, apologies.
Oops, my bad. And Baraka's like,
God.
you killed one of my guys, now we have to fight.
And they drag it out too. The guys in there like
He is.
flailing around and screaming.
Oh yeah,
Like they're driving home
melt.
how bad of a death it is after years of the fan base being insensitized to it.
It
It's
is
a really
longer
great
than like any of the actual stage fatal animations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it in such a way that, like, if this was there every single time you knocked someone in, you might be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think they would. Otherwise, like, yeah, the way they do it now, the way they've always done it, you just dunk them and it's over.
Yeah, it just in you go and out comes a skeleton. Like,
Yeah.
Yep. There is also a really cool moment where Aaron Black shoots at Nightwolf and he just cuts a bullet in half with the tomahawk.
yeah,
That's what's cool
That's
about
sick
having
as fuck.
Nightwolf around more often. He gets to do stuff that's kind of cool.
it is nice
Right?
when he gets to do stuff, isn't it?
It is.
I don't think anyone. I don't know if it was mentioned on the last podcast, but this story mode, like when you play it, it unlocks new gear and shit,
It does.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
like new costumes and gear for everybody.
and win
In the
poses. Like they added new win poses for Kano, Noob, Saibot, Kodal, and
They did.
someone else.
Johnny Cage.
That's right.
The choices are a little bit strange, but I guess, you know, they're like, this would be nice, this would be cool.
Well, I think they're going to gradually have everybody have 5 win
Probably.
poses, and they're just sort of this is what's done now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
there
is
will be
really
more,
mighty
like,
generous.
they'll
I'm not
probably come out
complaining
with the other 3 skin packs that aren't out yet.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, I wonder what made them do Kodal and, like, Kano and Johnny first.
I probably that's just what they had done.
Maybe.
I mean, the Johnny one is really good. I like him sitting
is.
down in the director's chair.
It is.
I think Noob is my favorite. It's got this like creepy gurgle to it when he makes the clone rise up out of the portal.
Gurgle.
So there is something I want to point out in this scene. When Aaron Black walks in, he's telling the Tarkatans like some old story from the Old West days about him finding like somebody he was hunting hiding in an outhouse and killing them. And I think,
Is it the Old West? Is it the Old West?
well,
or...
see, that's the thing. Like, outhouses are not really a present day thing.
So he's
They
800
can't-
years old again?
But
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's what's weird about it is like, so after vanilla story mode pushing like past Aaron as like a modern day Black Dragon member, present Aaron is still telling stories that have outhouses in them.
These fucking idiots, man. They
Hey,
can't.
look.
I've never
He's
seen
lived-
an Outworld bathroom.
He's lived a life that's hundreds of years long, and at some point he shacked up with the Black Dragon. In his relative youth,
Well, that's the thing, right? Like he can't fucking. They can't fucking decide whether he and Shang know each other. Like,
Yeah, like there are no references in the entire game to the fact that Shang gave him his long
not
likeness.
even in intros, man. Like, I think in an interview, didn't Sean or Dom say that they just thought that the ending, like Aaron Black's X ending, was non-canon because it was
they
an
said-
ending?
it's like, well, arcade endings aren't canon,
That's
so we
not
don't
how
really
that
know
works.
what Aaron's origin is still.
That's not how that works.
It's not, but I can understand like a person who's not really a veteran of this stuff thinking
maybe
that's how
he
it
just
works.
calls toilets outhouses.
I mean, they might use outhouses in Outworld.
I don't know. It feels to me like they're trying to have it both ways.
It does.
I don't.
I'm
I don't
actually
know.
not
I don't know
complaining
how-
about this. I certainly like Aaron being from the Old West a lot better than I do the idea that he's like only 3 years old or whatever.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, if he's 30 years old, that makes him less cool, like
Exactly.
objectively, because then he's just a poser.
Like, I don't really like Pest Aaron at all. The way he dresses with the like modern leather jacket, the modern guns. I don't like the look of it.
Pauldrons are terrible. So yes, I believe we get Jade bursting in here at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
And she's like, what in Argus's name is going on in here? And I was like, nice.
Which is nice.
And then they tell her, and she's like kind of for the idea of raising Sindel, but her big concern is like, hey, my crippled boyfriend is getting his spine healed. You can't use the soul chamber right now. They're just like, don't worry, we'll wait. But they fight anyway. And then they knock her out.
I did notice. One thing I'm noticing here as I'm seeing the cutscene is as they're walking to the soul chamber, those like little floating soul cages that are in the crypt are like decoration in the cutscene.
Yes.
Like the kind you gotta like use the soul money to break open the floating ones.
Yeah.
It's a nice little touch there.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
So one thing I want to point out when they get to Kotal in the soul chamber is I like the idea of the soul chamber being an equivalent to the Jinsei for Outworld.
Yeah, I've always kind of felt like once they introduced the idea of the Jinsei in MKX, I kind of figured, well, if you're gonna have that, if you're gonna have like there is a realm has a life force and there's like a location you can go to like interact with that life force energy, every realm needs to have that because every realm has life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about the idea that the Soul Chamber could be the Outworld version of the Jinsei is that it kind of acknowledges that, like, look, the way Shao Kahn works is that he sucks all the life out of a place to make himself more powerful. So it's almost like he's sucked Outworld's Jinsei dry, which is why it's such a wasteland. And then he's built the Soul Chamber over top of it so that the planet doesn't just fucking die. And, you know, he's sort of like replaced the Jinsei with stolen soul.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way of looking at it, yes.
I don't know. It just, like, that's headcanon, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
The logic is sound.
It works.
I just appreciate the fact that inherently the Jinsei is life energy and souls are also life energy, so that soul should have restorative properties, and Kotal fixing himself like this, I guess, does make a lot of sense.
Although the fact that it need both Jinsei and the Soul Chamber to bring Sindel back kind of establishes that there is some difference between the two kinds of energy. Like, maybe Jinsei is more powerful, like you're mainlining the drug if you use Jinsei instead of souls.
It's got more pulp.
I like it.
I do wish Kotal would have been able to finish in the oven instead of getting out like a tard.
That's what I was about to say, right? Is that he comes out and he's like weak as shit. He can barely fight until he's fine the next second. Like,
well, I look at it more like when you get fresh out of bed and you're still groggy.
Maybe.
Like
his legs are probably like partially atrophied a little bit from not having been used in a while.
I don't know. It's probably been like 2 hours since he got his back broken.
I don't know.
I mean, he definitely needed longer in there.
I'm not super worried about it because
the time is very...
I don't want to say fuck Kotal because it is kind of unfair how he gets treated in these games. Like, they have kind of reduced him to a jobber.
They have, oh yeah.
But I do feel like once he hands over the throne to Kitana, his role is over, and any subsequent appearance is filler.
It is.
I mean, to be perfectly fair, I was expecting this entire scene to end with him paralyzed again.
That'd be great.
But I'm glad he actually lasted longer than he did for that. Yay!
It actually would have turned out better for him if he had been paralyzed again.
Yes, sadly.
We'll get to that, but I guess what my question is, so there are certain events we see in Aftermath that happened off screen in the vanilla version, presumably, because like they aren't history being changed. So we see that because Kotal got his spine healed here, he's going to be on the boats with everybody when they sail to Chronicas. But he wasn't on the boats with them in the vanilla version. So what? Did he just stay in the soul chamber healing all day and missed the fight?
I mean, that would have been wiser. Especially
I
since
guess.
he's not Khan anymore, so it's like, I mean, you don't really need to head up your battalion for honor's sake.
It just raises questions.
Oh, dude, don't it?
Don't go to the healing chamber way too early, okay?
I guess. So anyway, so they interrupt him and he gets out, like his spine is healed, but he's woozy. And when they tell him why they're there, he's like, necromancy is fucking forbidden. I'm not going to let you bring Sindel back. So Shiva has to fight him and put him in a sleeper hold.
And she does, and he goes to sleep.
I mean, when you have 4 arms, you're not going to win that wrestling match.
You're not. I mean, Kotal's a big fucking dude, but, you know, she gets it done.
Yeah. So they put Sindel in. And, they put her in the oven and they bake her on 350 for 10 minutes.
They do. And that one really funny screen grab that Pot grabs and loves to post up everywhere. Have you guys seen that or no? I don't have it. Never mind.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's okay.
Posted.
It's fine.
Posted.
I don't have it handy.
You said you had it.
I'll find it. Okay?
I dare you.
I will find it. Go ahead.
God damn it.
Go ahead.
So
We get to zoom in a lot on her boobs in this scene.
yeah, they do like a cutaway. You can see inside her chest and her heart starts beating again as they do the spell.
That was pretty cool.
What I thought was funny is that completing the spell changes her clothes.
Her clothes were evil too.
They couldn't make a model of her in her Revenant outfit, but with normal colored skin. They had to literally transform her clothes and all from the Revenant model to her primary.
This is a very, very old video game problem.
I mean,
I just like the idea that her clothes are magic and that they respond to whether or not she's evil.
I think they're responding to whether or not she's dead. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Because she's still
evil the whole
she's
way.
pretending not to be, but she's still evil.
Her clothes are dead too, right? So,
I mean, I guess she's a super powerful wizard in this version of the universe. So sure.
it's whatever. So Katana walks in and kind of denounces them doing what they're doing and fights them as well. And then after that, Sindel's heart starts beating again and comes out the soul chamber and shit.
Like the first interaction between Katana and Back to Life Sindel, where she's pretending to be good, I really wish that scene had been genuine, because there is some like really good dialogue, or there could have been really good dialogue. So the interaction where Katana's like, "How could you kill yourself and leave me all alone with Shao Kahn? How could you do that to me?" is a question that I would like to see in every timeline. Like, that's sort of a thing that I've been waiting for. That's a good scene. But the answer that I didn't kill myself, Quan Chi murdered me and covered it up, kind of ruins it. Because that's not the answer that I wanted.
Here's my take on this. Phone. Look, it was never a matter of Sindel leaving her alone. If she had lived, if she'd survived, she was never going to see her daughter ever again. Do people actually believe that Shao Kahn would want Sindel whispering the truth of her former life into her ear. No! Kitana was shipped off to be raised as a murderer and a killer, and Sindel was going to spend the rest of existence up in a little tower. That's all there is to it. Okay? Okay.
I mean, I just wish that she had the chance to say that in dialogue.
It would have been nice. It would have been really nice. We're about to get to a point now where the whole thing fucking falls apart. You know this.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not on Kitana's side. Like, I know why Sindel killed herself. I would have done the same thing in her shoes. I'm just saying that scene where they actually talk about it is one that I've wanted since MK3, and it's a shame that we're getting this retcon version of that scene.
It's because it's been written by people who never fucking understood the circumstances, who just got up on a high horse and said, suicide's bad, and, and not any kind of suitable mother would do this kind of thing. Point in fact, this scene and the scene afterward, just for a little bit, has a little bit of moralizing about suicide, and it started to really get to me. It's like after this happens...
I mean, that's how they've defended it on Twitter. They've said some dumb shit.
When they get to the island, there's all these hanging monks, hanging around. Sorry. And Shank's like...
Wow.
Oh, they just couldn't go on without me. And I'm like, number one, these monks were never serving you in the first place.
Right.
This was their tournament and you corrupted it. And number two, what the fuck is this pro-life shit? Like, this is the only point where I feel like they kind of let their morals write their dialogue. And it really made me fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, there is some, agenda, politics-driven stuff behind the scenes about why they did what they did with Sindel that I don't really want to get into, because I don't agree with it at all. Like, I'm not a conservative. I just think that they're looking at these things the wrong way, that their opinion of what is liberal is not my opinion of what is liberal.
I mean, it doesn't really help the story.
I don't want to have a talk about politics on this podcast. Yeah. I just want to talk about, as a fan, look, I've been playing these games since 1992, and I get the feeling that the scenes that I've always wanted to see, because I've been around that long, and that I have these memories of childhood in the game, and I feel like Dom didn't play the MK games back then, that he's work for hire, and that he's coming to all of this with his own fresh new ideas that are
fucking terrible. Sorry.
I don't think he's a fan. No, I think he's just an employee. And that's why he does what he does, because he doesn't understand that feeling of, I've always wanted to see X. He's only concerned with living in the now because this is just a job to him.
Anyway.
It is interesting. It makes you wonder who it is writing the stuff like we see with them doing the deception intro with the Shang flaming snake on fucking Cetrion.
You're kind of cutting in and out, dude.
You're cutting in really bad.
Never mind, let's continue.
So it should be fine on the thing. I'm worried if we're cutting out for him.
No, you're good.
Okay. So they bring Sindel back, and the bad times don't really start yet, because throughout all this section, Sindel is pretending to be good and hugging her daughter and that kind of thing.
Oh god, the hug. The hug right then and there felt like a slap in the face to me.
It is a little bit when you know where this is going, it feels like a taunt.
I was like, yeah, I see you. You remember the MK Deception ending, and you're just gonna throw it in my face a little bit, aren't you? Okay, fuck you too.
Would it have been better if she would have said, the whole deal, you will die, and they had gone full annihilation with it? Just made her evil, straight up from the whole thing? I do wish, because they have so many movie quotes from Shang,
I do wish that Sindel was more Annihilation-y.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
That
He actually
would have
does just
taken
fill up
some
the
of the sting out of it.
Like if evil Sindel was just fucking comically bad, like that'd have been fucking kind of it eased the sting.
Yeah,
up.
it made it a bit more tolerable.
That
It would've
whole
been
chapter
amusing
to
at
me
least.
with her and Shao Kahn seemed pretty like, oh, it's Annihilation, but less funny.
Yeah, it needed to be hammy.
Yeah.
So yeah, also, Katana's like, for 1,000 years, I've dreamed of seeing you alive again.
Oh, there is
a lot of questions.
there is a recurring issue with Aftermath where they say 1,000 instead of 10,000 whenever they talk about Sindel's death. And
Math.
that doesn't necessarily mean that they're retconning Katana's age or when Edenia was captured. They could be saying, like, that still happened 10,000 years ago, but Sindel waited 9,000 years to die. Either way, it doesn't really make sense, because they also say that Katana was a child when her mother died.
This is stupid. It's stupid.
You can't. There are certain things that you can't retcon because it won't succeed, because the way it already was is drilled into people's brains. Like, you can't ever change the fact that Bruce Wayne, as a child, watched his parents gunned down in an alley. And you can't change how long ago Edenia was. Everybody knows it's 10.
It's 10. Damn it.
One of Johnny's major lines in the fucking movie is, "Damn it, Lou, you forget about her, she's 10,000 years old." That's how you know Katana. She's 10,000 years old.
Yeah, they say it over and over again every game. 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. It's really drilled in there. You can't retcon it now.
Where
Stop
were we
trying.
in the Aftermath story?
You have to understand, when you're writing something fictional with a big established audience, that no matter what you want to do, like, your headcanon will never trump the collective consciousness around the game. Like, change whatever you think you can about Scorpion, people are still going to think of him as the Yellow Ninja who wants to avenge his family. There are some things that are just in stone now, and you don't get to interfere. It's not your place. You don't have that kind of power to change millions of people's minds.
I mean, they do.
Yeah, now what?
And they are. And there's all these little
they're not
kids that weren't
succeeding.
there,
People-
dude. There's all these little Mortal Kombat fans that weren't there that's like, oh, this is how it is now.
No, but, like, nobody is actually going to go forward and thinking that. Like,
Dude,
people,
they are.
people whose
These
first
little
game... No,
kids.
look, even people whose first game is Annihilation are going to interact with other fans.
Annihilation game. I haven't
Video
played that
game.
game.
Aftermath.
Oh.
There are too many MK things that start with an A. Drives me insane.
Okay.
Annihilation, Armageddon.
I have to, like, for 10 years, I've had this problem of, like, Annihilation, Armageddon, Armageddon, Annihilation, like, trying to remember which one's which. Stop with the A names, guys.
Aftergeddon.
Stop it.
So he pulled Sindel out of the Jinsei. I mean, Soul Chamber.
The Soul Chamber. Then,
Yeah.
and then she and Katana have a thing.
Okay.
And then they go to get the crown.
Before that, there is a scene with Kronika and the Cetrion where we actually see Cetrion turn herself into evil.
Yeah, they treat it like
She gets
like
big.
Cetrion has multiple personalities, and when she's in her, like, evil fiery mode, she's less merciful or something.
I still don't get how this fits the theme.
I don't understand anything about Cetrion, and I never
Botched
will.
character, move on.
Bad character, move on.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I'm going to try to be more like my brother, and I'm going to look kind of like him with his colors. I guess that'll help, maybe. No.
I don't understand why she needs to transform in order to be meaner.
She looks better that way. I like that look a lot more.
I don't like any of her looks.
So she goes.
I mean, I kind of like the one with the short hair and the tits out.
It's okay. It's the most tolerable, I guess. I feel like Elder Gods shouldn't have skin. They should be
Yeah.
blue hologram people.
Yeah, she looks like she's toothpaste.
She looks like toothpaste. It's true.
They're older gods. They can be whatever they want. Dragons, Star Trek holograms.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
like
ape
if
elder
I'm
god
gonna
was so
fight
sick.
one, if it's gonna have a physical form that you can fight, I'd rather be punching the dragon. I don't want to fight a elder god as a person. The reason Shinnok has a body is because he lost his fucking powers.
I think they forgot about the dragon bit. Like, can you imagine, like, that fucking fatality where she just grows into a giantess and blasts the earth? Do you know how cool that'd be if it was a dragon swirling around the earth and then just firing the mouth beam?
Yeah, it's
That'd be way better.
exhausting. I don't want to talk about Cetrion anymore.
So
Yeah, Cetrion-
so Cetrion goes to the island.
No.
So
You're getting ahead of yourself there. The team goes to the
The
island.
team, Fujin, Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, and Sindel, go to the island to get the crown, and they get there before Jax and Jackie do. So they fight all the fights Jax and Jackie are supposed to have. They fight Cabal and Jade as revenants, and then they go down underground to get it, and they encounter Noob Saibot, who has some dialogue with Fujin referencing mythologies that is interesting to me.
Interesting in his.
Because Fujin says, "You didn't beat me, you ran away." And that's not how I remember mythology.
No, that's not.
I remember Fujin blowing himself up in a failed attempt to kill Bihan.
Which, I mean, I do appreciate Fujin trying to, like, save himself a tiny bit of face, and maybe being a little salty, if
I
that's
guess
the way
I
you want
always
to go.
wondered how Fujin survived doing that and appeared in later games, because when he does it, he leaves a skull behind.
He does. I think that's that thing that they talk about, you know, when Earthrealm gods explode and they reform in their own realm later
the
on.
lore about how if an Earthrealm god dies, they reincarnate, but they're supposed to come back with, like, a new identity and no memories. Like,
that's why he says it then.
Like,
he doesn't remember
literal,
how it went down.
Literal Buddhist reincarnation. You have a new life and you don't remember your past life. But Fujin is clearly the same person.
I think you can just chalk that up to being one of those instances where the graphics isn't like.
You know what? I'm just going to assume that Fujin didn't die in mythologies. I think that was always.
Yeah,
that was always the intention. I think they just wanted something cool for like a graphic or something.
Yeah, because by the same token, when you beat Quan Chi in that game and he falls off the bridge, he explodes on the way down.
It's just cool.
For no reason.
It's just cool.
Gods blow themselves up. Gods reconstitute themselves.
You know, I'm gonna pretend that was a teleport.
It's like how Scorpion doesn't have the spear when he's before he dies, even though he should.
You can't try to justify absolutely every single inconsistency.
Yeah.
To do that, you're gonna start wondering what Optimus Prime's trailer is doing when he's fighting.
I think
you're just driving yourself insane.
I mean, the trailer Pocket Dimension is canon, though, isn't it?
In a proper mythologies retelling, I think it's perfectly fine to say that Bihan escaped Fujin.
It's fine. It's like how in X, Serena has this big thing about how Bihan turned her good by teaching her the value of emotion or something, and it's like, no, they had a 30-second conversation and then she died.
Yeah.
I'm slightly aroused by this man's aroma.
Like, she was in love with the idea of Bihan. She never really met the man.
Yeah.
That's why her and Kuai Liang made more sense in Deadly Alliance and Armageddon. Because he's the Sub-Zero who actually acts like Sub-Zero.
I like Fujin's interaction with with himself, and when you play versus mode and stuff, where he's like,
I like Fujin.
I mean Fujin. Game. I'm sorry, I meant Fujin. Did I say Fujin? I may not have said Fujin. We're talking about a lot of people.
Right. So anyway,
Bihan. Why are you smashing packets with a hammer? I don't know.
So, anyways, Bihan tries to trap Fujin in like a portal, like a clone comes up and grabs him and drags him into the portal, and then he just barely fucking just climbs out of it with the wind and does some cool flips and shit.
New tricks.
I thought that was cool.
I like the way that this whole sequence goes down instead of Jackie and
Jax
coming.
when it was when it was Jax and Jackie, like present Jax held back and waited to like reveal himself so it would be a big shock moment.
Yeah.
But since he doesn't since Jackie's not there, he actually shows up with Noob and they fight together, kind of.
And Noob is just way more random in that instance.
Yeah,
like here, Noob is not random. Like, oh, he has a little bit of a history with one of these characters.
There is a line I don't like. So, Bihan is going on about how like, oh, I was weaker when I fought you, but now, Kronika has made me more powerful, and I'm like, that's not true though.
Well,
like, you keep calling him Bihan. Why are you doing that?
Okay,
well,
so
that's a different issue, right? But like my issue is that like if you want like Noob Saibot, like Bihan fighting Fujin as Noob Saibot, you want to acknowledge that he is now different, right? Kronika did not do that to him. That was
okay.
Quan Chi.
So here's the thing, though. Like, it's long been established that he likes his Noob Saibot powers better than he liked Cryomancy. Like, he is more powerful, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
But also, MK11 is the first time he can make more than one Shadow clone at once. Like, he makes whole armies of them to fight Jax and Jackie, right?
He does.
So maybe Kronika has made him more powerful.
Maybe. You'd think that if she did that, he would be sporting the Apple Store shit.
But that would be weird. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not everybody needs an ugly costume.
I like that there's like a limit. Like even NetherRealm Studios knows we can't put Noob in white, you guys.
I'm just thinking from their dumb perspective, right? Like if you're more powerful because of Kronika, like Jackson Frost, then you get the dumb Apple Store shit. So, in their perspective, I don't think that Kronika actually made Noob more powerful. I think they just gave him that power out of nowhere.
We'll never know.
Yeah, it's just I think you should have just said Quan Chi instead of Kronika.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's the run back, man. You gotta have the right dialogue.
It's fine.
It's not.
I didn't notice, and I don't really care.
So Fujin and Bihan fight here, and Fujin wins.
It's cool.
Get fucked. Did we lose Razor?
He might have.
Oh, what?
Oh, what?
Are you guys?
There he is.
You guys done making Deadpool noises?
There he is. Are you here? We couldn't hear you.
I am here. What?
You left.
You weren't talking.
Did you ask me a question?
I said, "Is Razor gone?"
And then you didn't answer.
I'm here.
Okay. So
I might not have. You might have cut out for me.
Oh.
So Fujin
So
fought
anyway-
Noob.
Yeah.
Fujin won.
Yeah. And so like then Fujin fights Jax, and they're having like
And
a
Fujin
big
won.
speech about like.
Shang summons the snake again and tries to steal his soul first.
Oh yeah, he tries to steal Jax's soul.
This is a recurring theme throughout Aftermath.
And Fujin's like, "Stop
Why
it."
is Shang is good at what he does?
You know, I really like them pushing the soul stealing because Shang didn't steal a single soul in MK9.
Oh, he's working overtime in
He
this.
is.
Yeah.
Fujin's like, "Stop that. Stop it."
He's on a spree in this game. I think it's the most souls he ever takes in a single game.
It's
I'm
gotta
sure.
be. Like, usually he only takes one soul in a game.
Just like the token soul taken. Here, he's unstoppable.
I mean, he
also
did have a
nice
whole
how they're-
tornado to eat from in Deadly Alliance, but those were all nobodies.
NPCs don't count.
Yeah.
I also do enjoy how much they're pushing the snake.
They use the snake a lot.
They do.
It's really cool.
So Fujin then like tries to convince Jax to turn, and Jax is like, "You can't tell me that I'm working with evil people while you're working with Shang Tsung, man. That's not how this works."
This is important, people. Nobody is buying it. Nobody.
Nobody.
people who are working with him aren't buying it. The people that are facing them aren't buying it.
Yeah, but it does succeed in the end, because there's this really nice scene where after Fujin beats Jax, Jax is like, you can't understand why I'm doing this. You're a god. You don't get mortal problems. And Fujin is like, so let me tell you a story about how I used to, like, live among the humans. And that stick-up-his-ass Raiden didn't like it. And this
Don't get
is
too
interesting
attached to them,
me,
Fujin.
because so it illustrates the problem with Richard Epcar Raiden really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So in the old timeline, as established in the backstory to mythologies, the reason Raiden was chosen out of all the other Earthrealm gods to be the protector of Earthrealm is because he's the one who cared the most about the humans. He showed the most compassion and was like the closest to them and like living among them and stuff. But in the new timeline, obviously Raiden is this stiff robotic exposition man who's all about the job. So when you get MK11 Fujin doing this impression of Raiden, you know, putting on the voice going, "Don't live among them. They'll distract you from your job." It's like, yeah, I can totally see him saying that. I hate it, but I can see it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last time on the show. Like, I believe Fujin when he says that. That's
Yeah.
a fucking problem.
It's very ironic because this is a criticism of the version of the character that they created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, like, I appreciate that they're giving us this down-to-earth friendly Fujin who is basically the Raiden I've always wanted. I mean, this is part of the reason I like Fujin, is because I've kind of been tired of Raiden since 1997, and Fujin is the perfect replacement. He's everything I want Raiden to be.
And pretty.
He is also pretty.
All these things.
He's an attractive anime man.
He is.
He's very beautiful.
Well, Raiden kind of has a rugged handsomeness to him, and then you take away his eyes, and it's all wrong.
Look, if you're gonna try and make Raiden good looking, he needs to take the cowl off and let his hair hang out.
Right. No, they're afraid of that shit.
Yeah.
He has an alt with hair in the game, and it's black.
Yeah, but that's like a vampire cosplay, so
I don't give a shit.
It doesn't count.
it doesn't count.
I don't. There are vampires with white hair.
But
Alucard.
Dracula has black hair.
Yeah, but
That's the-
Alucard.
Well, sometimes.
I mean, that's the cliche look. Dracula has slick, greasy black hair. Don't worry about it. It's
I
not
mean,
important.
Dracula
It's a
It
fucking
does
has
Halloween
white hair
costume. It's not
sometimes.
important.
Explain the canonicity of Black Lagoon Reptile. Do it now.
Do it!
Look, I'm the first one to shit on these costumes.
Yeah,
alright?
the shape of water reptile, is that canon?
Yeah, look how good looking fucking that Raiden is right there. Oh my god, fuck you, Fujin's good
Oh,
looking.
Raiden with pupils, man.
I'm the first person to say fuck these shitty costumes.
Yeah, if he's gonna have pupils in his eyes, he cannot be wearing the fucking Gambit headgear. It's gotta go.
He needs
Yeah.
to check that right now. Do it and make it cool. Like, as soon as he became human, he should have been like Batman Returns. Like, just rip that
peel the
shit
rubber
right
mask
off. That would have been sick.
Bruce Wayne! Why you dressed up like Batman?
Why you just thought it was Batman?
Because he is Batman, you moron!
Who? What?
So, anyways, Fujin tells this nice heartfelt story about how he knows the pain of loss, and it kind of implies that he actually had a family.
Yeah, it kind of implies that he has like the Highlander backstory, that once upon a time he was like actually living with, like, maybe he had a mortal wife or something, and he's like immortal and watch them die because they age and he doesn't, and you know, Highlander.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher Lambert. Oh shit.
You know, I just want to throw out there, Raiden with long white hair has happened in a game. Okay, that Deadly Alliance, that costume existed.
Yeah,
It's
I played
canon.
it. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think that fucking Fujin looks more like Christopher Lambert of this shit like that. If you put him in his white costume with the hair pulled back, like, I'm like, oh, Mortal Kombat 1 movie? I get this shit. And then you put him in his short-haired costume, and it's like, Mortal Kombat 2?
I just wish Raiden was the one who looked like Raiden. I wish Raiden was the one who acted like Raiden.
Yeah, look at that guy right there. Fujin?
Can we not post James Remar, please?
But why?
Can we not do that?
Come on, man.
I don't want to look at his, like, drug addict teeth.
Is it because Shao Kahn is his brother?
You don't like James Remar?
I don't like his drug addict teeth. No.
Focus, people.
So,
Okay. Pictures on the Discord. The audience can't see what we're seeing. This is audio. This is a podcast.
So Fujin reveals his backstory and reveals himself to Jax.
Yes, and that succeeds at turning Jax, so we never have the moment where Jackie has to face the fact that her dad is a dumbass.
Isn't that so much better?
It's a lot better.
Jesus.
It's a lot better.
Then Cetrion killing Jackie, and she's like hanging on and shit.
And Jack's just standing there watching it.
God.
Fuck you.
Dude, just get that out of here, right?
It was such a bad scene, and now it doesn't happen. They've removed that moment from the timeline, and everything is...
Instead, Jax runs up there whenever they get here. Hang on, baby girl, it's all good. And then we're done.
Yeah, Jax is officially a member of Team Fujin.
GG's.
So in
They get the crown,
in
and they
between
fight, like,
Fujin's
Cetrion
chapter,
shows up.
Yeah, in between Fujin's chapter, you play as Sindel to beat Cetrion.
Well, that's why they resurrected Sindel, right?
Yeah.
And look, we've all been saying that we hate chapters, that we just wish you could change characters on the fly to fit the story, right?
Yeah.
And
This is a moment where they actually do it. I think it totally works.
I also really like that you can use Nightwolf as an assist character.
Yeah, they added, so there are gameplay mechanics in Aftermath story that they didn't have in vanilla story. There are, you can call in strikers like you can in the challenge towers, and there are some endurance matches.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Nine had.
In the cutscene, something I noticed with Nightwolf in the cutscenes, this happens here in this scene too, is that he doesn't actually do the charge. Like, he runs normally and does the charge.
Yeah, he shoulder tackles into a wall of stone she makes, but there's no green aura.
And it works. It's
He's
fine.
just...
And
You know what? It's like how Muay Thai guys, they kick stuff over and over again until their shins are numb.
Yeah.
He has shoulder charged so many times that he can just hit things with his shoulder and it's the same.
and then afterwards, like, Cetrion, like, picks him up and, like, tries to kill him.
And they start
then
doing the thing.
He starts to do the
chants for
MK9
9.
again.
He
The same
tries to
exact
kill himself
chance.
again. Like that's his reaction to any time he's in trouble. Time to kill myself.
Well, with a really, really, really super bitch anyway. Like, listen, abort Mish, we're both gonna die. Take this shit. And it starts to work, it looks like.
I like the idea that his heavenly beam can kill an elder god.
Yeah, that's pretty tight, actually.
Like, he doesn't get the chance. Sindel interrupts it and saves their lives. But it looked like it was working.
I want to know more about this Great Spirit. It's buff.
Yeah, apparently, like, whatever the Great Spirit is, I would assume just one of the Earthrealm gods, or, well, no, so the Spirit Realm is supposed to be where he gets his powers from. It's like another realm that overlaps the living ones. It's like a third afterlife, heaven, the Spirit Realm, and hell.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's the goddess of that realm, but apparently she's pretty strong.
Yeah, she's buff.
10 will get you 20 in 2 games. It's retconning to being one of the other Elder Gods.
I mean, the other Elder Gods are dead at that point in the story, but...
Yeah, but they're not going to remember that.
Anyway, so then Fujin, Shang, and Jax join the party.
Yeah,
and they do the deception intro again.
Yeah, they do the lift him up and tackle him with the fire snake.
Yep.
Like Shang and Quan did to Raiden. And I really enjoy these references.
I really like that Fujin did Cetrion's fatal blow onto her. Like, he
He
throws
stabs
the
her with
rocks
the
at her and
rocks.
shit. That was tight.
You know what? There's a theme in Aftermath of like the villains of 11 keep getting wrecked every time they fight this team. Like they just get jobbed out completely. Like these are supposed to be the boss characters, and they almost die every single time.
These three are buff. This is why they were in the void.
It's amazing.
They had to be removed from the playing field. Too buff.
I'm just disappointed that Cetrion and Kronika didn't die early.
Yeah.
That would have been even better. Like that they succeed in escaping before they can be killed is disappointing.
It would, dude. They had to play the long game. They had to get to the ultimate end.
Anyway,
Well, for what things are worth, they still end ignominiously.
Cetrion gets her shit absolutely pushed in by the team. And then young Jax and Jackie show up like they were supposed to, except for some reason they have an entire army of soldiers backing them up.
Yep.
That were not there in the Jax and Jackie chapter of Vanilla. Where did those soldiers come from?
Scorpion's Revenge.
It's I hate when they change the timeline and don't explain it. Like, those were all my problems with 9. When there's a reason for the timeline change, go ahead, but there was no butterfly effect giving them the reason to bring those soldiers.
Here they are, though.
Anyway, Jax and Jackie show up, and President Jax is like, chill out, everything's cool here, and Fujin is like, yo, we got the crown for you, we're gonna bring it to Raiden now. And they do. And so they have the scene at the Fire Gardens.
Oh, before that, Cetrion gets her soul sucked by Kronika earlier.
Oh yeah, she kills herself early. She's out.
She's out.
It's
Get
amazing.
rid of that bitch, nobody cares.
I love it.
When I came across it, I was like, yep, that's fine with me. They don't like this character, do they?
So in Vanilla, she gave Kronika her soul so that Kronika could power up the Revenants. In this version, she does it so that Kronika can power up Geras early.
Look, it's inconsistent, but it gets Cetrion out of the picture, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
It's also probably so that they can remove Cetrion as an obstacle. Because she's supposed to be pretty OP.
Yeah, because she was supposed to be... Cetrion is technically the sub-boss of this game. Like, Godlu fought her before Kronika, so she's kind of the Goro. This way, taking her off the board means that, like, in the final chapter, once the Revenants in Apple Store gear are beaten, you can go straight to Kronika. You don't have to worry about fucking this bitch again.
Mm.
Which I appreciate, because fuck Cetrion.
And find them in an
dead
endurance
horse, pal.
fight. That's nice, too.
We're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
So they go to the Fire Gardens, and this is the scene
This
where...
is great.
The fuck are you doing with Shang Tsung? What? No! Stop!
Well, first they have the moment where Scorpion comes to the Fire Gardens, and it's young Scorpion, and Hanzo has died to Devora off-screen, like happens in Vanilla. And instead of Sub-Zero fighting him, like, Shang, Fujin, and Nightwolf show up. Or it was just Shang and Fujin, because Nightwolf stayed with Jax and Jackie to debrief the Special Forces on all the changes that are happening. So Fujin and Shang show up, and Sub-Zero is like, Scorpion, if you're really on our side, help me fight Shang Tsung. And Shang gets his ass frozen solid because Fujin dodges.
It's
A
great.
really sick jump flip. Very Annihilation type jump flip.
That was intentional by Fujin, and I will not accept any other answer.
I'm fine with that headcanon. That works.
So
I wish he
Fujin-
would have given a little smirk too.
Yeah, so Fujin seemingly deliberately gets Shang frozen and fights Scorpion and Sub-Zero by himself and defeats them. And then we go through the whole scene of, like, where before Raiden was like, Scorpion, I don't believe you, and he starts turning dark and Liu Kang has to stop him. This time he's like, Fujin and Shang, I don't believe you, and he starts turning dark and shooting them with the amulet, and Fujin has to stop him.
Which I think we all wanted. At least I did. I was like, wouldn't it be sick if Fujin was here to like smack Raiden around instead of Liu? Just because that's the headcanon I always had.
He's had it fucking coming.
He really did.
Yeah.
And Fujin's like, my brother's my problem. I got this.
Like, for some reason, no one has been shitting on Raiden for his choices in 9 and X, except the Revenants
do, but they always get stuffed because they're the bad guys.
Yeah, that's why I said except the Revenants. I would expect Bo to fucking chew Raiden out for his fucking incompetence, but I guess not.
He's also being drunk.
Well,
I mean,
it was a thing
I'm talking in X Shed, but
it was a thing in the comic that Fujin was always disapproving of Raiden.
It was.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
fucking face. The shit I
just-
post to Fujin all the time, just him with the arms crossed. He's pissed.
it's just something that I fucking needed. I needed Fujin to just kick his fucking shit into the curb.
I like the acknowledgement that, like, hey, Raiden with the amulet still can't beat regular Fujin.
It's amazing.
Because it bothered me, in vanilla, the idea that Raiden and Liu Kang have fought in every timeline and Raiden always wins. Fuck you, Liu Kang is so much better than Raiden, shut up. So the fact that someone's beating Raiden this time is a big improvement.
And he does
amazing.
beat him.
And we get our little moment of Dark Raiden, and then it's over. And then Kung Lao says something, and then I yelled at the screen for him to shut up.
Yeah. So Fujin
He has
and
two
Jag
lines.
tell the group about what happened in vanilla story mode and how Liu Kang is supposed to become Fire God Liu. And Kung Lao in the back is just like, of course he is.
Actually, I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty
Yes.
funny.
He has two lines, and they're both annoying.
Of course he does.
Every fucking time with this Liu Kang.
Fucking fix Kung Lao, my god.
I mean, I get it, but I also sometimes enjoy the snottiness. Like, in small doses. In small
Snotty is
doses.
fine, flanderized isn't.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So, during their debriefing of the situation, Kronika comes in like vanilla and stops time, and except this time Fujin and Shang are there to stop Kronika with Raiden.
Yeah, Fujin puts on the crown, and they completely push Kronika's shit in.
They do.
Like they did with Cetrion, they almost kill her, and I wish they had.
They pushed her into something, actually. They pushed her into some Netherrealm area where demons were grabbing at her.
Fujin kind of traps her in a tornado, and Shang is summoning corpses, I guess, to like swarm and attack her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raiden jumps into and starts shocking the shit out of her.
Yeah, correction. So, like, Shang and Fujin are the ones that nearly fucking murder her. Raiden is just the icing on the cake. He's frozen.
He just jumps in at the end because like it was weird to me. So they established in vanilla that Kronika can't time stop gods, right?
Yeah.
But she successfully time stops Raiden in this scene.
Fuck you.
I guess.
Just because.
I just love it. It's like, this is a Titan. Like, get fucked. You're so garbage.
Yeah, this really pushes home the idea that, like, Titans were a mistake.
And boy, does she like telling us how often very often that she's a Titan in Aftermath.
Can we just call them senior citizen, crippled, senile elder gods now?
Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
make them the oldest ones. Just
the old folks' home elder gods.
yeah.
Yeah.
Eldest gods.
Titan is the thing that they call themselves, and everyone's like, "Yes, dear, it's time for your pills."
That would be a great improvement if it's just like, yo, Titan isn't a thing. These guys are just elder gods. Delusional fucking elder gods.
They're so old.
Very old goddamn elder gods.
Anyway, so because Kronika gets her shit pushed in, she never gets the chance to kidnap Liu Kang in this version. But Raiden says that he can't create Fire God Lu. He can't like merge the Lus with himself until he has access to Revenant Lu and can like unrevenant him with his magic.
Yep.
Which
Don't.
is another way that revenants can be unrevenanted. Apparently.
I saw the wind up.
So many ways to fix a dude.
Well, I mean, listen, okay.
That was like fucking 50 frames of startup.
I am
there.
okay with that one just because it's like, listen, if a god sacrifices themselves, they can unrevenant a revenant.
Well, I feel like there's an implication that if Raiden wanted, he could then unmerge with Lu and like Lu wouldn't be a fire god anymore. Raiden just chose that when he unmerged him, he let Lu keep the powers and decided to make himself mortal.
That could be the case. I don't know what's going on there. You're sure.
I just thought of something.
Uh-oh.
So if gods are immune to the time bullshit,
Yeah.
shouldn't Raiden just not have his powers at all in this story mode?
You mean he should be affected by the end of vanilla?
Right.
Well, that would kind of break the past, wouldn't it?
It would.
It's tough though because in the initial game it says that like because gods exist outside of time, you only have one god at any given time.
Yeah,
But the one god staying there with Liu Kang because Liu Kang being like, "No, I totally need your help, Raiden. Don't get involved in this shit."
Well, here's the thing: if gods were unaffected by her time powers, he'd still be Dark Raiden. He was turned into past Raiden because they are affected. They're just affected differently than mortals.
Okay, it affected differently. The way I saw it, like, if Raiden from the end of the game, depowered Raiden, went with Nightwolf and Fujin, that would probably end up being the only Raiden that there was. There wouldn't be...
if he had gone back, he would have replaced the Raiden that was there the same way past Raiden replaced Dark Raiden.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
It would be kind of funny because that Raiden doesn't fucking have powers.
He doesn't.
I assume that's why he didn't. He knew that would be a tactical mistake.
Well, Liu Kang did, because he was going to do it.
Because, like, Liu Kang's not an idiot.
Oh yeah, Raiden was going to go back, and
He
Liu
was,
Kang said,
yeah.
"No, I need you here."
No, you stay here with me, Raiden. I
Don't,
need help.
senile old man, don't do that. That would be bad.
Okay. But Fujin's going. It's all good. All right, well, if Fujin's going, I guess. Fine.
So
No, I
anyway,
need to go. He's not committed to the job.
so they kick Kronika's ass, and they're like, "Okay, let's go to Charon ships. We're all ready." And they sail off, and there are the special forces characters are still at the docks because they're waiting for the Shokan to show up and get on the boat with them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we cut to fucking the Sindel chapter.
This is
Hey,
where
look,
where I do my shots.
I need to
Yeah,
go
that-
have a cigarette right now because of reasons.
This is where we all start the heavy drinking. Uh,
Can we
Speaking
just
of
not
which-
cover this chapter?
I kind of want to skip over talking about this chapter because I feel like everybody listening knows what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
Look, none of us approve of the changes to Sindel. The retcon doesn't make sense even within its own game.
We've already established this.
Yeah, but if we don't talk about it, then I can't talk about Doc Ock Sindel.
Okay,
so
but
there-
mention Doc Ock Sindel out of context. Man.
It's the dumbest fucking visual in any MK game I've ever seen.
there is a moment when her and Shao Kahn are on the boats fighting, and like Shao Kahn is in the foreground, and Sindel just kind of walks on her hair chasing somebody. Yeah.
She looks like Dr. Octopus, and it's so fucking hilarious. Oh my
I
god.
don't even understand why you would need to do that when you can fly.
It's retarded.
Speaking of
Like-
which,
Like,
there's
yeah,
a moment back. There's a moment back on Shang's Island when they're fighting Cetrion,
Yeah.
where it holds on a long shot of like Cetrion has Sindel grappled in the air, and Sindel breaks free, and she falls to the ground, and it's like a close up on her landing on her back, and the whole time like it's a really drawn out close up, and I'm thinking, bitch, you can fly.
I mean, maybe not anymore. Maybe that got retconned too.
It's still on her moves list.
And who fucking cares? Moving on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a special shout out to that little moment of happiness.
So
It's so awful.
So to kind of summarize, so she's evil, and she's pretending not to be, and she goes down into the dungeon where Shao Kahn has been since Kitana cut his face.
Every other one of her lines before the reveal is vaguely condescending and sinister.
Yeah, there are little moments where she's like giving Shang Tsung knowing looks, and she's talking shit about Raiden, and there's like when she talks shit about Raiden, Fujin and Nightwolf give each other a look, and I'm like, okay, so you noticed, but then they never do anything about it. Anyway,
it's a thing.
So here's the thing. So when she goes down to the dungeon where blinded Shao Kahn is being held ever since Kitana defeated him, and there's these two Shokan guards who are just like beating him in his cell and are about to stab him to death, and Sindel stops them, kills them, and so in vanilla, this is how Shao Kahn died, huh?
Here's the thing, right? So if he was taken away to the dungeon, then that means that Kitana knew that she didn't kill Shao Kahn.
I mean, I'm sure everybody knew. Like, she didn't. Look, the fact that Kahn doesn't die in vanilla was a deliberate choice. Kittleson did it on purpose for no good reason. Kitana has to have known that she was letting him live when she cut him in the face instead of the throat.
Yeah.
Then maybe they shouldn't have lines of people going, "Oh my God, she did it!"
Yeah, that's the dumb part. Like, we all know that was dumb. Look, our review of Vanilla was a year ago.
That's true.
Everybody knows it was dumb to let Shao Kahn live. It was dumb as a writing choice, and it was dumb in character.
I did like Shao Kahn smelling Sindel.
Ew.
Okay, can we just not?
I mean, he saw that he knew she was there. That's. I mean, I guess he was smelling
there because he heard the scream.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a long stretch.
Like,
oh shit, Sindel.
How is that a stretch? She's the only character that screams.
Oh, that kind of scream. Okay.
Yeah, she does her powers to kill the two Shokan.
And it doesn't hurt. Her name is fucking wife. I'm sorry, 500 Sunglasses.
Yeah, that's true. Like, this moment establishes that from this point on, this character is not named Sindel. Her name is wife.
And, so they, Shao Kahn and Sindel talk about how much they love being... Yes, Shao Kahn and wife talk about how evil they are and how much they love being evil and one-dimensional. And Shiva overhears this, and then wife...
What?
Try again.
Kills? What?
Sindel fights Shiva.
Sindel fights Shiva, and then wife assumedly knocks out Shiva or kills Shiva.
I mean, there's no fatality. It's a knockout, but the game acts like Shiva's dead.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't fucking know, man.
This is the start of a lot of that.
It's a start of a lot of confusing garbage, and I'm also since we're at this point, right, with the alcohol.
Yeah.
So
I don't have alcohol. That's why I want to spend as little time discussing this as we can.
Oh, that's your fault.
I'm trying to get through it.
Let's go.
So I just want to bring up this point that Shokan are again treated like blithering retards because they come in and they believe Sindel when she says that, oh no, Kitana killed her, guys. She's nowhere around here.
So 4 or 6 Shokan walk into the room and they see Sindel standing over the unconscious body of Shiva. And Sindel goes, I didn't do this, Kitana did it. Join with me and we'll get revenge. And they believe it. You
can see all the hair of wife covering Sindel, I bet.
So anyway, what follows from here? I mean, they go to the Soul Chamber to heal Khan's eyes, and then they fight Geras, and then they go to the docks with the Shokan. And what follows is a succession of Shao Kahn and Sindel beating everybody who's ever defeated a boss in this timeline. Like they beat Johnny, then they beat, or I think they beat Cassie first, then they beat Johnny. So that's the two people who killed Shinnok.
Sonya gets beaten off screen.
She's still bragging about Shinnok.
Yeah, that's Cassie's character in this fucking game, and it's part of Jackie's too. Like half of her intros and all of Cassie's are just, "We beat Shinnok. We're the ones who beat Shinnok."
Man, Shinnok fucking sucks fucking balls, right? Man, fuck that character.
This is not how you make this generation likable.
I'll give Shao Kahn
getting worse.
I'll give Shao Kahn this. He's all like, "You call beating Shinnok a fucking achievement? The guy never knew how to fight."
Shinnok is a decrepit old man. Like, he was never a martial arts guy. He was a wizard.
What did he say? He had more cockiness than combat prowess or some shit like that.
I think
that's something that Shang says about Khan at the beginning.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I still think it's just the writers shitting on Shinnok because they don't like Shinnok and they think he's a joke.
Well, fuck them. Shinnok is actually a better character than Shao Kahn in this game.
He is.
Shao Kahn.
Like, this guy isn't Shao Kahn to me. Like, so we've had one or two people on the Discord defend this chapter because they enjoyed having the ability to play as Shao Kahn and beat a bunch of good guys, because the bad guys never get chapters and they never get to win fights. My response to that is like, look, I want villain chapters as much as the next person, but the characters I want to have villain chapters are characters who have been shit on, like Ermac, Reptile, Baraka, the Henchman. Those are the guys who deserve chapters.
Collector and the like.
Yeah, like Shao Kahn doesn't need the push, and this guy is not Shao Kahn. This guy is some kind of weird battle toad.
A battle toad?
Like, I don't know who he doesn't even act like Shao Kahn. He just acts like generic Conan the Barbarian Man number 236.
He's pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
It's been written like shit.
He breaks time. Or he calls people out for breaking time, which is pretty sick.
I don't know. That was like the one Shao Kahn line in the entire story.
I swear there was at least two, but I can't remember.
One that was memorable anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one might have been
so
wife.
One-dimensional. I hate this timeline's Shao Kahn. I hate him in every game he's been in. You know what? I don't like him in Deception either. I think Shao Kahn should have died in MK3 and never come back. Then he could have earned his dignity. Then he could have remained in the annals of history as a good boss.
You mean he should have died in Deception? Or no, not Deception, Deadly Alliance. And
he still got fucked there. He didn't come off as
I would have killed him off at the end of 3. I would have changed Deadly Alliance so that, like, maybe Quan and Shang were overthrowing Reiko instead.
I mean, yeah, that would have been like, oh shit, that what a twist. They beat Reiko? Wow.
Remember when he was the emperor of all Forsaken Realms, master of dark arts and arcane magic, ruler, unquestioned.
Who, Reiko?
Intelligence to be a good wizard, I would think, right? Yeah?
He used to be, like, he was fucking Sauron, is what he was.
Yeah, Shao Kahn used to matter, and now he's this weird turtle man.
Landerization.
So anyway.
So that's why I have a problem with this whole chapter of him beating good guys up. Is because it's not even Shao Kahn, and if it was Shao Kahn, he doesn't need it, someone else does. And Sindel doesn't fucking need it, she got the massacre. She already has that moment to her name. She doesn't need a bigger push for SummerSlam.
The massacre.
And I don't think anyone actually knows what the cutscenes look like when you only play Sindel.
Oh god.
I don't.
I played Shao Kahn.
I played Sindel, actually.
I played it twice. The Sindel ones aren't really anything to write home about.
Yeah, you don't get the Doc Ock bit.
I know, I was so sad that I didn't get the Doc Ock bit. I was like, damn it, I gotta replay now.
What a shame.
So we got on the boat after beating those 3. They had the nice nod about them being like, these will make good trophies for my Coliseum. We get it.
So there's a moment where Kung Lao throws his hat and Sindel catches it. And I'm thinking, your hat can teleport. Just teleport your hat.
Give me it back.
Take the hat back. And no, she throws it at him, and he catches it, but she threw it so hard he cuts his own hand. And I'm like, that's You get cut with your own fucking weapon. Like, why are they shitting on Kung Lao this hard?
And then she calls him a eunuch.
She does do that.
I enjoyed that bit.
He does say something here, and I was like, God, shut up again. I think
So,
he calls himself
yeah.
great for the second time.
regardless of which character you beat Kung Lao with, he gets thrown into the blood ocean.
He do.
And that is the last we'll ever fucking see of him, hopefully.
Now, I'm going to assume that he's still alive treading water because his revenant didn't disappear.
Yeah. I mean,
But anyway.
it's Mortal Kombat. Unless you see somebody explode, they're not dead. And even then...
So then, if you play as Sindel, you fight Kitana and win. And if you play as Shao Kahn, you fight Liu Kang and win. And this is the part that made me actually mad. Like, I knew Sindel was going to be evil in this. And it upsets me, but it's like, I'm used to it. I'm, like, numb to it now. The part that actually made me angry is that this version of Shao Kahn has no right winning a fight against Liu fucking Kang. Like, this weak little turtle man is not stronger than either MK2 or MK3 Khan. Like, MK3 Khan had specifically a fucking buff. Like, he had stolen 7 billion souls before he fought Liu Kang, and Liu Kang still won that fight.
This one did have the Soul Chamber buff that happened right beforehand.
That was just to heal him. Like, he should be, like, wobbly like Kotal was.
I mean, but, like, it's also like, oh, man, I'm, like, better than fucking, I'm, like, fresh. Super
I don't
fresh.
buy it. I don't buy it at all. And
Remember when Smoke beat Shang Tsung and Kano? That was tight.
the other thing is the way the fight is staged. It, like, goes by in a blink of an eye. There's no, like, gravitas. There's no dramatic build-up. This is a fight between Liu Kang and Shao Kahn, and it just happens out of nowhere, and Liu gets bodied for free. What am I supposed to feel about that other than pissed?
That Shang Tsung is actually the bad guy here.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're building up this bad end because it's going to be erased at the end of the game anyway.
That is a thing.
This is just them going, we have free license to do whatever we want to do because none of it will stick. I get that. But I still don't want to see it. I don't want to see Shao Kahn ever beat Liu Kang. And I especially don't want to play as Shao Kahn and be the one beating Liu Kang. That's not a good feeling. Like, when you're creating entertainment, you want to please the audience.
Look, I'll just say this much. Sometimes it helps to make power levels less of a thing in your own head. I didn't like it either, but it wasn't the end of the world to me.
Look, I'm not saying there needs to be numbers and charts. I'm not saying it needs to be like Dragon Ball.
That's the
I'm
problem.
like the staging of it, like the fact that he got bodied for free, and there was no like build, like it wasn't built up like a boss battle. It just happened.
I kind of feel like that was the vibe, though. Like
It's like a pacing and staging thing. Like, Liu Kang should not be treated this unimportant.
if Liu Kang did get like shoved into a fight with Shao Kahn where it wasn't a tournament situation and there was no prep for it whatsoever, maybe Shao Kahn could get the upper hand on him. Maybe, I don't know.
Instead of like intriguing dialogue and like interesting camera work, like that really accentuates how important this fight is, you get Doc Ock Sindel before the Liu fight.
Yeah, this is in cinematography terms, this is shot and paced like a filler. That's why it sucks.
Maybe the people behind it didn't like working on this bit, and I wonder why.
Let's skip to the next bit then.
All right, so we get through this long string of Sindel and Shao Kahn taking over a boat, and we go to Kronika's Keep, where our team of heroes are assaulting the front gate, and Fujin uses the crown to knock down the front door, which is what Fire God Liu did in the vanilla version. And whereas in vanilla they just ran at her castle, and a cutscene of them punching their way through a bunch of demons. This time there's a whole sequence of events in the new stage that they made, the bridge between the front gate and the castle. And this is the Shang Tsung chapter.
We made it through.
Yeah, we
All
finally
right.
we're out of the dumb shit,
I mean,
and
I'm
we're
so
into just having fun with Shang. So Fujin, using the crown kind of takes it out of you, and you can't like do it constantly for so long. So Fujin is kind of weak after he knocks down the gate.
He blasts that shit.
Yeah, and the
again, Fujin being cool.
Yeah.
It's so cathartic.
I do enjoy the pull out far shot of the giant wind gust that blows down the doors.
Mm.
And so Shao Kahn and the Shokan, their boat arrives and they join the fight, and so it's starting to go bad for the heroes. And Raiden walks up to Fujin and he's like, "Let me use the crown. You're weak.
Yeah.
I can take care of it. Trust me, brother." And Fujin hands over the crown, and then it's immediately, haha, it was Shang in disguise.
1 fucking second is all it took.
Yeah, they've been spending the entirety of Aftermath going, "We know you're going to betray us. We've got our eyes on you. We'll see it coming." Still happened.
All it took.
And the trouble is, like, obviously the whole time Fujin knows how it's going to happen.
I mean, Fujin is still like, whatever happens here, Liu Kang, we had that sidebar at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I know there's a backup plan. It's okay.
Fujin's the Doctor Strange in this endgame, which they say endgame. And I was like, you said it, huh? As long as you guys know, too.
So Shang proceeds to wade his way through Nightwolf, and he's about to take Nightwolf's soul, but Fujin and Raiden stop him, and he fights the two of them 2-on-1. Before this, when he put on the crown, he actually, like, de-aged to his young self.
He did, yeah.
Which I kind of enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting all the costumes in there. I mean, that's part of Shang's thing. Start as an old man and become a young man.
And he do it. And he looks good. Young Shang looks good in this game.
Yeah, I feel like... I mean, I complain a lot about how the young version should have a goatee too, and it's always kind of bugged me that he was clean-shaven in the movie. But if it's immediately after he's de-aged himself, I'm okay with the lack of facial hair, because this is like the youngest Shang.
Yeah.
This is like... Sometimes an 18-year-old can't grow facial hair.
It happens to the best of us.
If I'm gonna bring myself to my prime, like physically, I'm probably gonna go that young. So anyway, Shang beats both of the gods and then successfully steals their souls.
Doesn't kill them.
Yeah, he doesn't take
Not
all of their souls,
but he drains them.
like he withers them, but not all the way to death.
Yeah, enough to where they look like Shinnok.
Yeah. So Shao Kahn and Sindel walk up and they're like, "Let's finish them off." And Shang's like, "No, we're gonna hang on to them and keep draining them for eternity because they're gods and their souls are really juicy." Or whatever.
Well, he wants that thing at the end where he uses them. I mean, I guess that would have been a slap in the face, but a little too telling just now. Be like, no, I want them two to be my primary lackeys instead of you two. So let's not kill them.
So I feel like if you're restarting time from the beginning of history, you can make the gods anyway, so it doesn't matter if you kill them.
You would think.
Because the Elder Gods were born before the universe was, but the Realm Gods were born after there were realms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have control of the Hourglass, you actually get to decide whether the gods are created or not. Like, that was part of Kronika's plan, to create a timeline where Raiden's never created. Anyway, so Shang succeeds in taking their souls, and then him, Shao Kahn, and Sindel, as a trio, like, march on the castle, and they bust their way in, and they kick the shit out of the Apple Store revenants.
Shocking.
Another problem put down.
And as Khan and Sindel are moving to attack Kronika, Shang is like, haha, surprise! And takes them both down.
And he murders them.
As you knew he would.
And that's why I say they didn't forget MK9. It was direct retribution, and
it was nice. Like, it just, as a Shang fan, this whole chapter just feels good.
It does.
Like, it's almost like an apology for 9.
It was like 20 minutes of Shang solving all the problems.
Yeah. And again, like, people are gonna maybe think, why were you upset at the bad guys killing all the good guys in Sindel's chapter, but not in Shang's chapter? And it's like, well, okay, so 2 things. One, like I said, we all know that none of this is going to stick because the game ends with history being restarted. The other thing is that, like, when Shao Kahn and Sindel do it, they're just kind of dumb assholes, and I don't like the dialogue or the way anything is set up. When Shang does it, Kerry Tagawa is delivering fucking great dialogue in his fucking Kerry Tagawa voice.
If Kerry had played Shao Kahn and Sindel, maybe that would have been kind of cool.
Like, his charisma makes all the fucking difference. Like, I like this character.
And of course, like you mentioned, Shang might as well be on the level of Baraka and shit because of how badly he was treated in 9.
Yes, getting to see all of this, like, karma finally come his way after he's been, like, treated like a jobber is really satisfying.
Single-handedly removing problems with the storyline that irritate us all. Inferior revenant versions of characters.
So Shao Kahn and Sindel do get their souls stolen all the way to dead.
It's nice.
Withered to skeletons. Fucking done.
And then Kronika jobs to him hard.
Yeah, he fucking bodies Kronika. Because, of course, she sucks.
She's just, like, the lowest tier boss. Like, fucking...
Yeah, like, it's... So when Godlu beat Kronika, it was kind of a quick kill. There was still some sort of, like, it was like a boss death in the usual, like, an arcade game where she's like, no, boom. Kind of.
She doesn't even feel the pain.
Yeah.
Stone.
In when Shang does it, she's like crawling on the floor, looking just pathetic. And he takes his time, like, torturing her with words and then stealing her soul.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
And it's just... I hope that they have learned that we don't like Titans, and that all of this is a sign that they're not coming back in future games.
I don't think that's true, but... Either way, it's in the public, like, eye, right? Like, people are gonna look at this game and, like, argue with you about it.
Well, I mean... Regardless, history will show that Kronika was a punk bitch, that she was a loser.
She was.
Out of sight, out of mind.
And more importantly, she looked really stupid.
Yeah, she looked stupid and worthless in this game. Nobody's going to look back on MK11 and say Kronika was a good boss character.
I mean, just as far as her physical design goes, it looked really stupid.
People will still say that she's better than Onaga.
She's a space baby.
Those people are idiots, and I have video evidence that she's not better than Onaga.
Listen, I hate Onaga very much, but Onaga's way better than Kronika.
Anyway.
Kronika sucks.
So at this point, just to take stock, Shang Tsung has the crown. He has the souls of Raiden, Fujin, Shao Kahn, Sindel, and Kronika.
And Cetrion and the other Elder Gods.
That's true, because Kronika had them. So yeah, he has the combined power of the entire pantheon of the Elder Gods.
He does. Some might say he's broke.
He also stole a version of Nightwolf earlier.
He did, damn.
Anyway. Can't say they didn't do him justice this time, can we?
No, he is all of the things. So he's like, everybody's dead, the hourglass is mine, and he starts to use it. And then God Lu shows up from where he was waiting at the beginning of time.
See Shang Tsung.
Before you doom us all. And as him and Shang talk, Shang figures out, oh, I see, you knew that I was the only one who could use the crown and be Kronika, so you let me kill all of your friends. You let this bad end happen because you knew you were going to show up, beat me,
Him
take
and
the
Fujin
hourglass
both.
anyway.
They both knew. Fujin died willingly, which is nice.
Yeah.
I love how Shang just taunts Liu. Is like, that's pretty evil.
It is
That's
pretty
cool.
fucked up.
And Liu is like, they'll be fine in the next timeline.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
And
Doesn't
Shang
matter.
is like,
World's coming to an end.
Oh, you think you're going to stop me, though? That's where you're wrong here.
By the way, this is what that sidebar with Fujin was about.
Yeah.
Liu was telling Fujin that he wants Shang to win.
Yeah, Fujin knew all along that the bad end was going to happen, and basically willingly sacrificed himself.
Liu was like, listen, I can't go back and beat Kronika in a way that salvages the crown, because I have to kick her in the head or some shit. I just can't not kick her in the head. I can't, so we have to let Shang...
I can't resist. I can't hold myself back.
You just can't. Listen, he knows himself, so that's good.
You're telling me here at the end of all things, Frodo Baggins, the answer is he must win.
It is.
In a way, I mean, it's certainly better done than MK9's He Must Win. So, like, it proves that the idea of someone with knowledge of the future wanting the bad guy to win so that he can then stop the bad guy after they win is not a bad idea. It's all in how you execute it.
It is. And this way, there's no revenants to, like, loose ends that, like, are leftovers from the He Must Win.
That's
like, it's all gone this way.
The problem with 9 is that when you do the bad end at the beginning of your timeline, you're then left with the consequences. Like, we had to deal with the fact that revenants are now a thing. And that, like, it was a big downer. And I always compare it to building a house on a bad foundation. But when you do it at the end of your timeline, when you know you're going to reboot at the end of the game, you do have free reign to do whatever you want because it's all going to be undone. So you can totally have these, like, fun, the bad guys win type ideas. That's when it's okay to have the bad guys win. Normally, I am against the bad guys winning because the audience is supposed to be following the protagonists. Anyway, this brings us to the multiple choice. You can play as Liu or you can play as Shang end of the game.
And I'd like to just say how really appropriate it is that after everything, after all these years, all these games, that it comes down to Liu versus Shang Tsung. That feels really right to me.
The one thing that the NRS writers have always gone for that I do like is their fondness for bookends. Like, where the beginning of a thing matches the end of the thing, or they'll repeat lines from previous stuff. And there are a lot of, like, quotes from MK9 worked into the dialogue here in, like, weird places that actually kind of fit. And it's like cutesy and it's corny, but I kind of enjoy it. And yeah, like, this is a thing, like, they ended the cutscene at the beginning of Armageddon with a fight between Liu and Shang even turns into an old man in that, so it's even more thematically appropriate. And once again, we're ending a timeline on Liu versus Shang. And I really appreciate the symmetry of it.
Symmetry indeed.
That it always starts with Liu versus Shang and it always ends with Liu versus Shang.
You almost expected the music to draw. Bump, 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 test your might.
But it doesn't, sadly.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, that is a shame that they still, like...
So,
11 was the first time they started using Techno Syndrome in the marketing for a game ever.
That track
they still
still
haven't
is
actually
not-
put it in a game.
Well, for two things. One, they haven't actually released that track from that launch trailer a year ago.
No,
And-
there are like fan cut versions of it on YouTube, but
Yeah, but they don't sound as good. Anyways,
Is that the Vegas track or not the Vegas track? Because the Vegas
that's
one is out there too.
the Vegas one, the one that he put out, is different from the one that's in the trailer that he did.
Okay.
But point two is that it's kind of in the tournament stage.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of.
kind of.
Sort of.
And the tournament stage doesn't show up in single player towers.
It's really
Yeah,
weird.
that's weird.
So
but
I actually never see it.
Likewise.
It's a shame because I'd like to do that stage fatality just once.
That would be cool, yeah.
Everyone deadlifting arcade machines.
So if you pick, let's start with picking Shang to win because it's one that's probably not canon.
Yeah.
So when Shang wins and beats Liu Kang and takes Lu's soul, because of course, all the souls,
All of them.
Also
it
sing
goes
his little
from,
neck snap.
it goes from him using the hourglass to the universe he creates is a shot of him in the Pantheon of the Elder Gods area, except it's kind of spooky and evil, and there's green sorcerer energy and stuff. And Raiden and Fujin are there, and they're like bowing to Shang because they serve him, and they're telling him that they have succeeded in conquering Earthrealm, Outworld, and the Netherrealm, and Sato and Chaos Realm are next. And you see the camera turns to face Shang, and he's like 100 feet tall and sitting in a giant chair.
It's kind of fucking dumb looking.
It's really silly.
He's huge.
You know
like
what
Xbox.
I enjoyed about this? It's really fucking tinfoil hats, but I was like, is that a joke about how big he was in Mortal Kombat 1 in Shang Tsung's throne room? Like, he was oddly too big when he's sitting in his chair and you look at him from perspectively?
The perspective was weird.
He even had the gong around the back of his chair in Mortal Kombat 1, and he has a circle around the back of his chair in the Elder God ending. I was like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, when they go to visit the real Elder Gods, they are like giant blue people sitting in chairs in this game.
They are.
And he's like, I guess he's the same size as that, he's just not glowing blue.
Right.
And we gotta talk about that fucking costume.
That skin is great.
Oh,
I love
it
that outfit.
looks so sick.
It's on one of my Shangs now.
Yeah, I had to equip that. I don't approve of a lot of the skins in this game. Most of my characters are equipped in retro gear. But that skin is a keeper.
It's really good.
And there's like two colors. The primary is kind of Deadly Alliance, but there's also an alt color that's like staunchly MK2, and it looks really good.
Yeah, I love the black with gold. That's the one I'm using. Like, I like the red one with the Deadly Alliance, like the golden brown pants. I do like that one, but I'm using the MK2 black and gold.
So that's our fun little what-if scenario.
Yeah. So, but here's my question about it. If you are the ruler of the universe already, why do you need to conquer realms? What does God need with a starship?
Of fucking course. I don't know if it's about conquering so much as everything being under his dominion.
I mean, if he created the universe and there are no elder gods, shouldn't everybody already worship him as the god of the universe? Wouldn't they have been born believing he is the god?
Well,
I think that they just wrote it like that just so they could write it a neat little Chaos Realm Sato.
I guess. I mean, it's silly and it's not important. I just
again, your name drops. They're never gonna happen.
The problem is that I think logically.
he's getting ready to subsume the one being or some shit. Who knows?
Perhaps.
It's not important.
I don't know.
He
It's
consumed
not
the
important.
soul of
It's
the
just
one being.
it just raises questions. That's all. That's all.
It's too many questions.
Too many questions.
All right, so the real ending now.
It just Val Kilmer's too many Jim Carreys.
And Batman Forever's all over this thing.
So the Liu Kang ending, which is obviously like the good one, the probably canon one. Like, I don't know that you can even write a sequel to Shang Tsung Rules the Universe and there's nobody left to stop him. Because there's nobody left to stop him.
I could write it. I could write it. It would be
This is how Injustice
crazy.
That's true. Like, this is kind of an Injustice thing. Like,
it's
a bit like Injustice 2 did have a multiple choice ending, and one of them is, hey, Superman took control again, and also Batman is now under mind control. And that's probably the one they'll follow up from in 3.
That's the one.
Most likely.
That's
Anyway,
the ticket.
so the good Liu Kang ending just cuts from him beating Shang to it's a shot of the Shaolin Temple, and there's, there's beautiful like leaves on the wind passing by.
We are
a bunch
flying
of
into this shit. It looks sick too.
It's really good. It's very pretty. And there's monks doing katas in the courtyard practicing, and
We don't see a lot of that. It's nice whatever we do. It grounded me and brought back that martial arts movie feeling.
yeah, this is the aesthetic that I just want Mortal Kombat in general to have. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, here's one scene of it.
Yeah.
Do it all the time.
This would also make for a really great stage. Just fucking fighting out there while those guys are doing their kata and shit.
Yeah.
I love that shit. It gave me feels of the end of the first movie. Whenever that fucking one song starts popping up, all the kids are running around with the blue flags.
Oh, yeah, Halcyon and on and on.
Yeah, that thing.
There's just like
love that
20 Gordon Lius in the background.
So the camera moves to inside a little side room where some bald monk is polishing a very familiar-looking jade statuette. And then Fire God Liu enters the room, hovering, and gets the monk's attention, and he turns around, and we find out that this is the great Kung Lao. And the reason that little statuette is familiar is because the Lao family had given it to Raiden back in MKX. It's the one that Jin was trying to steal.
It was.
Because he didn't think Raiden deserved it. So that's a neat little reference.
It is. That was a nice reference.
And so this scene is Liu is now assuming Raiden's place in the universe, and he's taking Great Kung Lao on. He's going to train him for the Mortal Kombat tournament. And all I can think of after seeing this is please, please, please let MK12 actually be about the Great Kung Lao.
It'd be so sick, right? Finally.
That's what I want to see too.
We have talked a lot about how like the series needs some sort of break or breather, how we need some kind of time away from like the constant rebooting and retelling of old games and some of these characters and choices that are just stupid. We need something that will feel different from MK9X and 11. The best way to do that I can think of is to do a game set in the past and cover some of that ancient stuff. Like, so a pitch that I have been thinking of is, what if instead of one big 15-chapter story mode next time, they did 3 small 5-chapter story modes, like Aftermath-size mini story modes in MK12. One of them could be the conquest of Edenia, and you could actually like play as King Jared and see, because people have been asking for a long time too. And maybe it could be like, it could have like time skips, so it starts with Jared and then it ends with you playing like Kitana, Molina, and Jade in Outworld, and we see like assassination missions for Khan, and we see how Kitana learns the truth, like she's sent to assassinate some Edenian rebels, and one of the rebel leaders is a guy who used to work for Jared, and he remembers that like he remembers that Jared and Sindel had a baby named Kitana, and he's like, look, Shao Kahn has been lying to you, and that's like how that happened, like Kitana's origin story.
So Rangers
like
had canon the game.
That could be a little 5-chapter thing, and that would cover some stuff that people have wanted to see on screen for a very long time. And then you could do like another 5-chapter story that's like the life of the great Kung Lao and him fighting in the tournaments. And then you could do a little 5-chapter story that's maybe a retelling of mythologies. And between these 3 different stories set far apart in time, you could have a whole like 30-character roster. Like you could have Jared and Great Kung Lao and like Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Raiden and Quan Chi and Kitana and Mileena all on the same roster, even though they're from vastly different time periods.
I'd go further back. I'd actually explore the split of the Shirai Ryu and the Lin Kuei myself.
You could do that. Like, I feel like that could happen during the Great Kung Lao time period.
Yeah, I think so.
Because 500 years ago, Great Kung Lao's life does line up with when Japan had its feudal period and when ninjas were invented.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have like the original Takeda who left the Lin Kuei and formed the Shirai Ryu, and you could have a cryomancer named Sub-Zero exist in that time period.
The Great Takeda.
The Great Takeda. That's what we're going to have to call him now.
It is.
So that's my idea for MK12. I think that's a way to get all these past things we haven't seen and still have like a bunch of familiar characters on the roster, is to cover like multiple time periods with multiple mini story modes.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody would complain about that. That would be really, really cool.
I think a lot of people would like that, and it would get us away from the fucking special forces, which a lot of people.
Dude, you have to have those at the heart of every Mortal Kombat.
Not if it has a say. But wouldn't that be nice?
This would bring back the martial arts movie aesthetic, because all of these ancient time periods, like even Mythologies is set in the year 1990, but it's still like, because it's about ninjas and the Netherrealm, there's not really a reason for anybody to have guns in there.
Did you guys think that those statues in the Shaolin Temple there while they were all fighting looked a lot like Bo Raicho? I thought they looked a lot like Bo Raicho.
It's not impossible.
I think it was deliberate.
I think if you were to ask the people, they just say, "Yeah, that's Bo."
Well, I think if you asked what God Lu's timeline looks like, I think Kittleson would confirm that Lu did turn his friends into elder gods, like in his arcade ending.
Yeah.
Probably.
So the reason that statue looks like Bo might be that Bo is a god now.
I mean, why not? Lu can do that.
Johnny's a god. Help you all.
I think
Sonya is
in
a god.
In the ending, the gods were the elder gods were Raiden, Kitana, himself, Kung Lao, and Bo Raicho.
The elder gods were the friends we made along the way.
Literally, yes.
Bo Raicho, the god of kicks and wine.
All right, my dudes, is that it for the evening? Because I think it is.
Yeah, that covers. I mean, final thoughts. What's your overall opinion of Aftermath story?
I think that the first 3 chapters are phenomenal. There's a lot of good shit in there, especially choreography-wise.
And
just
seeing...
seeing Shang be cool, seeing Fujin be cool, seeing Nightwolf be cool, seeing Shiva is cool.
And the Great Kung Lao.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Doc Oxendale, sick shit, man. Sick fucking shit.
Shang Tsung Rules, the video game.
Yeah,
I give it 3.5 stars out of 5. Just shit about that little ugly purple mess in the middle.
This is like the year of Shang, dude. Like, he's fucking up everyone. Like, fucking him and Scorpion's revenging Quan Chi and shit. Like,
we've already said, or at least I have, that I can't go back now. Like, if Shang's not played by Tagawa in a future game, it's not gonna feel right.
Yeah.
Like, Tagawa needs to become the Richard Epcar of Shang. Like, please don't make this a one-time guest role thing. Please keep him around for however long he is alive and healthy enough to perform. So I guess my overall opinion is like I've seen people say that they think Aftermath is better than Vanilla 11, and I can see why they say that. There's a lot of good in it. For me, Vanilla is still the better story because I love the ending with like the good guys getting just a pure clean win. Just Liu Kang and Kitana getting to be together. That's what I want in a Mortal Kombat story. I'm really tired of the edgelord subversion bad guys win stuff they keep doing over and over again. Just a nice, pure, traditional good guys win story has been something I've been missing for a really long time. And I appreciated Liu and Kitana getting to be the main characters after so long. So Vanilla I really liked. Aftermath, I do enjoy it, but the Sindel chapter is what brings it down below Vanilla for me. I love 4/5 of Aftermath, but that one section is just, it's like it was tailor-made to piss me off.
I look at it like they probably wrote this around the same time that they wrote Sindel's bio. So I feel like they didn't do this with the express purpose of pissing us off further or trying to defend it because people didn't like it. So I knew this was coming. So as painful as it is, I can kind of brush it aside or at least pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
the Shang stuff is too great for me to let the Sindel shit ruin it.
I think anyone who thinks that this was going to fix Sindel are entitled idiots that don't know how video games are made. Just kind of obnoxious people that just go oh, this is their last chance, fix Sindel. No, they're not going to do that, dude. You know how video games are made. Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
a lot of people really don't know how they're made. The kind of effort, time, and work it takes. Months of it.
Particularly, the writing of a script and the animating of cutscenes has to be done way before the gameplay is done.
This is for anything, really. The script comes fucking first.
Yeah,
if anything, they were stealing themselves going, okay, just try to power through all the Sindel reactions. It's not going to be pretty, but we know it's coming, you know?
Well, you've got Dom on Twitter, trying to live in a bubble where he only, likes and retweets people who are complimenting it.
But you know he's reading everything.
He's trying to put his fingers in ears and go, la, 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 everyone loves what I did, nobody's mad.
It's dog shit, Dom. Dog shit!
Can this guy just fucking be fired already?
Yeah, that's the problem. Whatever I may say about how I hope MK12 goes, I don't think it's going to work if Dom is still working there.
Look, for all of that, everything else was done pretty well. So I'll give him that.
I'm not going to give him any credit. I'm going to give Sean that credit.
Yeah, I feel like Sean has demonstrated on multiple occasions that he's actually a fan of this franchise and that he's just trying to do his best. I think Dom, there's something wrong with the man. I think he doesn't like Mortal Kombat. He likes his ideas. He's trying to make it his franchise. He's like, I know better. I'm going to improve all the things I didn't like. And it's it's not yours, man. It doesn't belong to you.
But everyone blames Sean because he's the name that everyone knows.
Yeah. Sean is the more out there. I feel bad for Sean because
me too.
He doesn't deserve this. He tried, and he has this guy he has to work with.
Look, I'm just saying they work together, so maybe Dom had some input into good things. It seems pretty sketchy to blame the one terrible thing or the most terrible thing on him and say that Sean was most responsible for.
Well, I'm not saying all of Sean's ideas are good ideas. He certainly
Maybe all
had
Dom's
some
ideas aren't bad ideas. Just, I get where you're coming from,
But I think Sean wants the fans to like the product, and Dom only cares about himself.
I can agree with that.
The man just recently said that Titans are above the one fucking being.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
him
and
and Sean,
someone had to correct him on that.
him and Sean disagreed on it, and Dom is still sticking to his side. And Sean is like, well, in the way I wrote it, obviously Titans are below the one being. The one being had to come first. That's why it's called the one being. The
Sean
universe
knows
is
what he's
made out of
fucking
it.
talking about.
But he's like, but I'm not in charge anymore. I was freelance, and Dom's the writer now, and it's in his hands. And he was, diplomatic and complimentary. He said he thinks it's in good hands with Dom. And I'll disagree with that, but I'm not the guy who's trying to stay friendly and not burn bridges.
Yeah, that's just him not. He wants.
Yeah, like if my
job openings open, man.
If I was a professional and trying to not, if I wanted to keep the door open to maybe come back in the future, I would definitely not say bad things about Dom. But since I'm just a fan and I'm not working for NRS and I don't expect to be anytime in the future, I'm going to say Dom sucks.
Dom,
I disagree with every single opinion he holds.
Please step down, Dom. Please. Switch positions for us, Dom.
There are other positions in the company. Like, I think Dom comes from the sound design side. I mean, look at Vogel. He became storyboard artist when he left the writing team.
Not the sound guys.
I'm not saying the man has to be unemployed. I just don't want him writing.
Please switch departments, Dom. Thank you for playing. That's all.
I would say, please demote Dom to another department, guys who are above Dom. That's what I would say, because Dom himself isn't going to step down. If you were a writer and you had a bunch of fans saying your work sucks and you should quit, would you do it? No, you'd think those guys are assholes.
Well, guys above Dom, the guy sucks at his job. Please get the wheels turning.
I really hope people are paying attention, because there has been backlash on Twitter. There is a community, and they're not being quiet about this stuff.
The man has repeatedly expressed a lack of interest or knowledge in the source material. We have long memories. It's not that hard to read. Even the fucking wiki, as wrong as it is sometimes. Just, it's time for change. Who's next? Dom's next.
As far as Aftermath goes, I really, really, really loved getting to walk around with Fujin and Nightwolf and Shang. And we spent so much time with them in Aftermath that it overshadows my feelings about that one chapter. And that one chapter was, even if I was coming at it from, if it was possible to cut off all of my old Mortal Kombat fucking ties and whatnot, which is not, but if it was possible to do that, then at best it would be forgettable. That chapter, the Shao Kahn Sindel chapter, which is also not good. That's a bad thing. So at best it's bad in that it was just kind of forgettable and whatever. At worst, it's everything else that has already been said about it. But those other three things, or those other 4 chapters, actually, are, whenever I think back about Aftermath, especially after playing through it twice now, whenever I think about Aftermath, I think about those things. I think about Fujin, I think about Nightwolf. Nightwolf especially really jumped out, because it was just really fun to walk around with him, and to hear that voice actor who did a really good job. I don't know his name. I wish I knew his name. I really loved the Nightwolf that we saw in Aftermath. And that coming along with, obviously, how great Carrie was all through that thing, and seeing Shang, and how awesome it was to see Fujin getting treated, which is something I never in a billion years thought that would come from NRS directly. That kind of Fujin, that kind of treatment of Fujin is just crazy. Crazy. I never would have thought that they would have done that, but they did. So, like, that's what I think of when I think of Aftermath. The other stuff is, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, what I love most about Aftermath is that Fujin and Shang Tsung have been owed a performance like this for years. And it's nice to finally have it. Like, it feels like, for all of the anti-fan service surrounding Sindel and the concept of Titans and all that stuff in this story, what they did with Fujin and Shang is pure fan service. It's what we've been waiting for.
It's nice to have to feel that sometimes, yes, they do listen.
I mean,
and now that those days are mostly done.
I mean, obviously everybody wants like the perfect product with no mistakes, and you're never going to get that. I think I'm thankful for what we got. I just think there was the room to do better in this case was somewhat obvious, that's all. Like, I can't actually imagine someone thinking people would like the new Sindel. I feel like that shows a lack of self-awareness, common sense, maybe.
I brought up the situation with my girlfriend, and she actually posited that it might have been because of some of the bad press that a lot of other media was getting around the time.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely like
13 reasons why, for example, they don't want to be glorifying suicide. Real PR shit like that.
Yeah, so, like they have opinions on suicide, and they have opinions on quote unquote female character agency, and like obviously like in the old backstory, there's like the possibility of rape, and you don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there were so many better ways to go about it.
I really do think that the choice for Sindel comes from almost a narcissistic point of view.
It's like my problems with a lot of social justice politics are that they're trying to do a good thing, but they don't understand what the right thing to do is, so they fuck it up.
I mean, like, even if their guiding light was something they thought that was more like, this is a better place to come from to present this thing, like, it didn't end in a better story, which at the end of the day, it's like, well, I mean, if you're not going to tell a better story with it, then you're not really doing anything with it. You're not actually doing justice to anything, because it's not good. It doesn't matter what you do and why you do it, it has to equal a good story in the end.
We might have touched upon this on the Sindel episode itself, but them having a problem with the supposed implication of Shao Kahn raping Sindel is such an easy fix to write in without actually changing the character.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, in the old timeline, Shao Kahn wanted his wife and daughter to...
No, I don't want to spend the rest of my fucking night talking about the one thing they fucked up.
I agree.
We're done. We're done.
Agree.
I want to go to bed, guys. Come on.
I just wanted to say that, like, Shao Kahn should not be so one-dimensionally evil. He shouldn't, like... If he wants his wife to love him, he's not going to force her into bed. So you could totally say that, like, he was hoping Sindel would come around, and then she threw herself out a window. So there was no rape. You could just say that. That's all.
Agreed.
It's fine.
Completely.
But aside from one chapter, I really enjoyed Aftermath.
Yeah, like 4/5. 4/5 is a good thing. And, like, you know, they are owed some credit for what they did with Fujin and Shang Tsung.
A lot of it, as a matter of fact.
Their chapters were so cathartic.
There's some good stuff in there. I mean, for me, I still like Vanilla better just because I'm a big Liu Kang and Katana fan, and I like the big happy ending. But Aftermath is good too, mostly. So I guess that's our final thoughts. That's the episode.
Yeah. GG's, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with us.
Thank you.
As we took a little bit longer to put this out than we thought that we would.
Yeah, there were weather problems. Knocked out Django's power over the weekend, or this would have been
I
sooner.
got fucked by fucking the weather. It was. Listen, it was. Thanks for putting up with it as long as you did.
Yeah.
Maybe the tornadoes everywhere should fucking stop.
They should. It wasn't even a tornado here. It was just really buff wind. That's all it took. It wasn't even a tornado.
Hey,
Dude,
did you guys know that it storms in the summertime?
Really buff wind, causing and fixing problems. Isn't it nice?
It's true. This is pigeon season. This is appropriate.
It is. There's thunder outside my house right now, and I'm cursing under my breath.
All right. Well, before the power goes out again, let's say goodnight.
Cheers, folks. Catch you
Good
around.
night.
Later, nerds.
Bye.